Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
Yeah, I can't mention Operation... I don't know, I'm trying to think of another word for soap. Detergent. Operation Detergent.
Detergent. Yeah, that's
something to do
that's the new...
with foam. I have no idea.
Right, let's do the show. It will be long. It will be long, I'm guessing, right?
Probably.
Yeah, cool. Shall I do the intro? Let's do the order as we have it on the notes because I didn't change that. And okay, I'll start then.
This is Geek News Radio, broadcast 71. For Wednesday, September 19th, 2018. Sealing the trees.
You're listening to Geek News Radio, episode 71. I'm Fab in Hamburg.
I'm Mike in Scaries.
I'm Dave in Birmingham.
And this should sound good. I'm continually working on my audio recording setup. Got a new USB interface, audio interface. I think I figured out the problem that I have. Haven't completely fixed it. So to the guys, I might sound weird. Yeah, but you should all sound good. So that's okay. I'm just good. Sounding weird outgoing, and I can fix that as well. I just need to buy a new cable. So this is the thing, right? I'm doing a podcast with Dan again. People might remember from Linux Outlaws, and we recorded a podcast episode. And I'm trying to fix this problem for like 3 months, right? Mm-hmm. I've talked to
don't tell me Dan just was like, just do this thing.
Yes, I was talking to like audio engineers, like people who learned audio engineering at work, right? And like they got me way there, but like we couldn't really completely like they diagnosed the problem, but like they didn't have like the easy solution, right?
You've got side fumbling. You need Marsal vein fans.
Yeah, basically yes. So basically, there
retro encabulator.
You need a more expensive, really expensive mixer that has like XLR outs, and Dan is like, no, okay, so tell me your problem. I told him his problem. He's like, no, what you need that output. And I'm like, yeah, but I need balance. And he's like, okay, but you don't need XLR. You can just use a balanced jack. And now I just need to buy a balanced jack cable, which is like €2.
Nice.
He immediately fixed it. It's like, oh, God. I missed that, man. Anyway, what are we drinking?
You can tell me why my computer just sort of decides that fucking, I don't know, I want to sound like a robot after an hour.
Yeah, that's the next problem we need to fix.
So I was gonna do it. We mentioned it like after the last show, or whatever. That like this would be the show where I try recording it on my laptop on Linux. But I'll be honest, my foot really hurts. So I've been limping around the house, and everything takes about 4 times longer. So I was like, I'll just go get my laptop. Limp.
I would have been scared if you did that, so it's okay. And just to make it clear. Your foot hurts because you ran too much, not because of an accident.
Yeah. It's entirely self-inflicted. I'm doing, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm doing the couch to 5K thing.
No.
And I'm doing that thing where they're like, take a slow person and make them less slow. And it's going all right.
So what's that? You're trying to run 5K?
It's weird because like I'm on week 3 of like 12 and I've already technically run 5K. But it's like run 5K or run for half an hour solid, like constantly running, not walking at any point. And it's the second bit that I'm doing because I walk at about fast, so it's not really that much of an upgrade. But I'm on week 3, and there's like 3 runs in week 3, and I did the first one, and I was like, that was really like not satisfying. Because all the previous ones, I basically felt like I was going to die after them. I was like, man, that was tough. I've achieved something. First run on week 3, I was like, it's over. Oh, okay. So the second one, I was like, I'll just do another half. I'll do an extra, like, load. And I did that. And then I went to bed like, I ache. I ache quite a lot. I ache. Oh, this hurts. And then this morning, I ran for the bus. And then, like, got to the bus. Like, I can't I can't really walk.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. So when I do running, right? And I do like, especially when I do 2 days after each other. So usually I don't have time in the week right now because of my job's shit. So I do it on the weekend. And if I run like on Saturday and Sunday, I feel good but exhausted on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then Monday morning, I'm okay. Like I can get to work and I can do things. But if on Monday morning, which happens quite a lot because there's a lot of traffic, the S-Bahn, like the local train, will be slow and I'll have to run to the ICE.
Oh.
I will just make it to the door of the ICE. And I've done this several times, and then we'll collapse, and I can't do anything the rest of the day.
Yeah, so that's basically
yeah.
me. I limped around work. People were like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, yeah, I just fucked myself running, and like the guy sitting next to, he currently has like a mashed up face because he like was doing like some off road running, and he just like fell over and skidded on his face. So he's got like a massive like graze on his face. I'm there limping like I've been in the war. And we're like, software engineers shouldn't run that.
Are you sure that's true, or it's just an excuse? Maybe he's a wrestler?
I saw his, unless he's logging his wrestling on Strava, I don't think he is.
Well, maybe that's just the training.
Maybe it is.
Is he Dolph Ziggler? Because he just hurt himself massively.
No, he's significantly smaller than Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all in the wars, trying to be healthy.
Is he John Cena?
Oh man, if he was John Cena, that'd be amazing. I'd be so happy with that.
So I thought I would have felt bad because you were gonna go on about running, but like I'm really not a sportive guy these days, right? But one thing I can reliably do, even like if I haven't run for half a year, I can do like about 7Ks in an hour.
Yeah,
that's what I can do, but that's about it.
I did 5K in 40 minutes, which, considering I could barely run 1 minute like a couple of weeks ago. So
that's a good improvement. Right. That's good. You're gonna be. Okay. Are you going for a wrestling career?
Yeah,
because you have the size. You just need to bulk up a bit.
I just do. But I'm gonna. That's the thing. I'm gonna get the cyclist physique. I'm gonna have like mighty legs and then just like wimpy arms.
What was your wrestling team name again?
The Rainbow Bros.
The Rain Bros. Yeah, the Rain Bros. With like camo pants, but in rainbow colors.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm just gonna like cycle at them, and then Fab's gonna like shout at them. That's gonna be.
You just squeeze them with your mighty thigh.
I mean, we can do this. I saw this video, like the surveillance footage today on Twitter. On Twitter, Dave.
What's Twitter?
Of some, there's like some guys trying to they're going into like a betting shop in Ireland, and they want to rob it. And I think two of the guys have hammers, and one of the guy has like, it looks like a rifle, but he's not using it. Yeah. And so they're overwhelming. They're kind of the cashier guy wants to give him money, and then this 80-year-old granddad gets up and starts just beating on the guys. Like he grabs the hammer and just gets the hammer out of one of the guy's hands and just starts beating him. And then the cashier is like, well, if he can do this, I can do this too. Starts beating up the other guy. And the most amazing thing is they run away, right? And the last of the robbers runs past granddad, right? And he turns around and does the most amazing, like, Ric Flair clothesline you've ever seen. The guy just runs into his arm. It's fucking amazing. So, I mean, if you can do this, Dave, we can do this.
Yeah, we can do this. There's a future for us.
Sounds Irish, yeah.
Very. He looks like the Prime Minister as well. Like from the, he's got that hair. Very much.
You mean the president?
Oh, the president.
There's a president.
Oh God, I'm getting stuff about Ireland wrong again. My God, I hope Charles is listening to this. Anyway, let's get stuck in here. I'm going to start. I'm on Flensburger Edles Helles. Fancy blondes. Katie has a birthday party on Friday, and we already bought the beer, so I'm starting drinking it now.
Don't drink them all now.
I'll give my best. It's 2 cases.
Leave some for Katie.
Yeah. No, she's got. That's just for the visitors. She's got gin.
Yeah.
Got bottles and bottles of Tanqueray.
Super.
Oh, Tanqueray, nice. Yeah. Well, I'm on an Aarhus combo, or in Danish, it Aarhus set, which is the Arn bitter. That's the name of it. It's a special bitter that was made in Aarhus, and then you have a beer with it to chase it.
It's called series. It's like expanse beer.
Yeah, that's the Aarhus beer series. The breweries and all. So yeah.
So that's so in when you posted this picture, you haven't put a picture in the show notes. I'll put that in the show notes. It reminds me of in Hanover. There's this thing called Lütsche Lager, where you just imagine you having a beer glass, right, with a lager or a pils, I think it is, and then gripping that with your hand, and then you take a shot glass with like a clear schnapps on top, like on your two fingers on top of the beer glass,
right,
and you drink it. There's a trick to it. You drink it in a way where the schnapps pours into the beer, which pours into your mouth. It's actually quite.
I'm sure there's something similar, but I just didn't live in Aarhus long enough. But this is like if you're an Aarhus local and you have your local bodega, then this is what you get to warm up. You get down and you get a combo.
Yeah, we have like the other thing in Germany is called a Herrengedeck.
Very good.
It's a old man's or a gentleman's deck, which is the same thing. So like a schnapps and a bitter and a beer.
You go.
Yeah, and we're making up for Dave, who's having coffee.
Yeah, I'm
socialist
having
coffee though.
I'm having coffee from my Chairman Meow mug, which I've had for like 8 years. It's like the Chairman Meow posters, but with a cat.
I like the hat.
It's a good hat.
A great hat.
It's a good
very
cat.
on brand.
We are coming so close to having a cat now. Like,
oh,
the cat is gonna fuck our lives up. It's gonna be awesome.
It's a nice little sort of introduction. To
I was thinking that
somebody else.
It's an entire replacement for a small child.
It's the first step, isn't it, Mike?
You go ahead and think that. Dave.
Yeah. No.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I refuse.
So today on the show, we're doing a lot of Warhammer.
Yeah, all that stuff that I, in the last episode, was just like subtly
at.
editing the show notes, being like, can we do a podcast about this?
We're doing now, and I'm going to let you guys talk a lot, and I'm just going to rant on 2 minor points, maybe.
It's going to be Kill Team related.
Maybe, yes. But before that, I want to give a little small review of The Bard's Tale, which I got a press key and played a bit. So
That's a song by a band.
It's also a video game from the 80s, which they've made a sequel. And I'm thinking Mike's gonna like this. So I'm gonna. This sounds like something Mike would be into. So I'm gonna give that, but give a little review of that. But before that, there's like lots of housekeeping I want to go through quickly. So bear with me.
Oh, that sounds very serious and professional.
Well, housekeeping.
Yes.
Yeah, it just sounds that way. It's just self-promotion. So Dan and me, I mentioned this before, we're doing a podcast called Hollywood Outlaws. And because I'm getting with the hype game here, learning the PR tricks, we're releasing the first episode on the 10th of the 10th. And it's going to be, we're doing Bosch. We recorded it already. It's a great episode. It's finished. I got it on my hard drive. I'm just going to wait a bit. I need to
building the hype.
Well, building the hype, I need to build the website as well. And I'm on holiday next week, so I need to kind of, but yeah, look forward to that. It's going to be great. And then I want to say, check out Dan's other podcast, Tales of the Unattested. It's at unattested.podfactory.org. It's great.
I somehow missed this.
Yeah, me too. Like I
don't know how I missed.
He crept under the radar with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to teach him this hype stuff. It's great. It's like, they're talking a lot about comic books, obviously, because it's Dan and his co-host. She's also like they sound like they're soulmates. They're also massive. Cass also massive.
I saw a photo of them recording it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Fine. Right. I'm just stupid. I'm just really, really stupid.
Right.
That's why I missed it. Not because like Dan is bad at hype. It's that I just am a moron.
Well, it's a great podcast. You should listen to it. It's fun. They get like they have like this anonymous letterbox, And
That sounds like it's going to go well.
Well, the first episode is just introduction. The second episode, I haven't listened to the third one yet. Didn't get around to it today. It was released yesterday, and they get their first anonymous stories in for the second episode, and it's great.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, and it's a good website because you just go to the podcast thing and then you just like take the URL and you do / like RSS and it gives you the RSS feed.
Well, that, and they obviously have Podlove like we do. They have the Podlove subscribe button where you click on it and it gives you all the options, including just other app. Just give me an RSS feed because Podlove is great. So I wanted to mention that.
Stupid.
Sorry?
I didn't even know that button did that.
It's great. We've had that since the start of the show for 71 episodes, Dave.
Well, because like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
it's all good.
I see a subscribe button, right, and I'm returned to the days of iTunes where that would just open the link in iTunes. I've just like sort of assumed that like it doesn't work, but it just magically works.
It's all good. I sorted it out.
Why are people so much better at
there's actually one thing that's good about you leaving Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know nothing about your life now. I mean, I followed you on Instagram, but that's just not the same thing. I know nothing what's been going on with you, and I'm really looking forward to catching up on the show. So,
oh man.
Anyway, a thing you probably missed because you weren't on Twitter. So you remember when we had Char on a while back, and she mentioned Slava's game. She has a friend. You know the guy who tattooed, lost a bet, like how much Divinity would sell, and then tattooed Divine on his back. So he has a game company. They're called Dark Crystal Games. They're doing an RPG called Encased. It's on Kickstarter. It's already, it's like when we record this 2 days on Kickstarter, we're well on the way to being backed. I backed it for, I don't know, I think 120 euros or something. It looks great. You should check it out.
Do you want to pay for our fence repair?
Do you want to do a Kickstarter?
I fucking want to do a GoFundMe. Please pay for my fence. Fence is so fucking expensive.
So if I didn't have to save money,
such an old man.
If I didn't have to save money because I'm going freelance, I would have spent a lot more. Because if you pay like a 400 or something, you get like
holy shit. These rewards go on.
You get like an avatar, right? They draw an avatar, and if you look on the page, there's one of Charm because she's writing a short story.
Yeah.
And that's such a good avatar. So good.
I'm trying to find that. Oh, sweet.
Anyway, this is great.
Steam key or activation code for 18 euro.
Yeah, they start really reasonable as well.
This is the segment where we decide how much we're going to back it.
Yes, live on the show. It's like inspired by maybe Fallout and Fallout 2. Like it's an old school CRPG set in an alternative 70s future apocalyptic thing dome that aliens put on the planet, and it looks great. And it's inspired by Fallout and by Roadside Picnic, which is a thing only like, so it's like, Stalker a bit like Stalker as well, and which is also inspired by that. And it's that's a thing that only Russians can pull off, and they're Russian team, so it looks great.
It does look good. Yeah, I remember liking them on Facebook once, just to follow these people, and I've just sort of not been paying attention to the world. Like, I've been seeing their status updates. I had no idea the Kickstarter was live.
That's just because you're building your house. You're not on Twitter.
And I'm not on Twitter.
Speaking of Kickstarters and me trying to slowly bankrupt myself, another Kickstarter that went live today, and wow. So it went live today, right? It wasn't funded when I backed it a few hours ago. Now it's so they're trying to raise 10,000 euros and they got 100,000 already. It is so I've talked about Stalenhag, and he has a book called Things from the Flood, which is the second book, and also the first book, Tales from the Loop. There's an RPG out, which I only learned some time ago, and now they're doing a Kickstarter for the sequel, Things from the Flood, the RPG, and of course I've already backed that too. So
it's like do not go on Kickstarter anymore.
Yeah, I haven't backed anything in a while, but now I'm like deep, and so these came out 2 days after each other as well, and this is Stalenhag, so I have to. It's so good. I recently read that book, Things from the Flood, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
Nice. There is if other people wanted back a thing, I would recommend this game. It's called BattleCon, and it's like a fighting game, like
not
a 2D
another
fighting game.
thing.
2D fighting game, like Street Fighter, except it's a board game, card game thing. Fab would call it card game because there's no board. Actually, there is a board, but it's loose. It's sort of just a tracker kind of thing. But basically, you have like a deck of cards that are like they're not like random or anything. They're not like booster packs. It's just like you pick a character, like you pick the dude with the sword, and you pick him, and you have his cards, and you shuffle the cards.
Well, I see a picture with the board, so I think you can call it.
And then you like play the cards of like punching, like high, low, whatever, and the other person like basically you're kind of doing all of. It's a really good simulation of a fighting game, except it's turn-based, so you don't have to be really, really quick with reactions. It's really good. And
this is why it looks very
super anime.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, yeah. The art style's not my jam. It's a bit weird, but the game is really solid, and they do like they've done different editions of it, but there's this like a mega edition on Kickstarter that like got posted the other day.
It just looks like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's mad. It's really, really good. I like. I'm tempted to get it, but the thing is, there's a guy in Birmingham who has like already all of the BattleCon anyway. So if I want to play it, I just ask him. So if people want to like back a cool thing, do that. Yes.
Is that on Kickstarter?
Yeah, there's a trivia battle. There was a BattleCon.
Can you put a link in? I'm gonna go and put that in. One thing I want to mention for the Germans. If you listen to previous podcasts of mine, you know that I'm a huge fan of the German TV series Der letzte Bulle, with Henning Baum, which is amazing. I loved, came to an end, and now they're doing a movie. So Henning Baum has been on Instagram posting about how he's training, and so they're doing a letzte Bulle movie, which they apparently is going to start filming really soon, which I'm massively excited about.
So Fab, the translation is the last point?
No, the last cop. Bulle is German for bull. And it's German slang. It's like derogatory, a little bit slang for cop, you know,
like a Bobby or a copper. Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit worse than like it used to be derogatory, but that was like more in the 60s and 70s. Now police people will call themselves that basically. So now it's more like copper.
Yeah. Well,
Dave is just putting in the show notes that the Kickstarter is down.
Yeah, I checked earlier today and it was live. But
maybe it's just one of those random.
Yeah, maybe people. There was some people moaning because like there's also an online version.
Yeah, it'll be like a rights dispute. It might be. It'll be back, right?
Maybe I don't know. They definitely earned it. I don't know. We'll find out at some point. But like, you can buy the game separately, so you can just like get the current editions. This edition was specifically like a collection of everything and some bonus lads.
I'll put link in the show notes anyway, so people can look at it. Yes. Then I have to mention. So apparently Hulkov knows that my wife's birthday is on September the 24th, the 21st, and apparently that's why he's releasing a new single called Skith on that day.
Yes.
And I'm really happy about that, even though Katie doesn't like Hulkov and I do. I think he's as me. He has realized that she'll come around.
It's those Swedes, you know. They just understand when there's an important birthday and they do something for you.
Exactly. It's like you know, like Sabaton with your birthday.
There you go.
Yeah. So this, I'm really excited about this. Hulkov is great.
I'll give it a listen. I will be open-minded and I'll see if this album changes my mind.
So we're going to talk about board games, and one thing I'm really excited about is there's a new Battle Tech coming out box set. which I find really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. It's I'm kind of. It's like I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I'd really like to play this. The game appeals to me. I could probably rustle up some people who want to play it, but also it's like I've been through this before in terms of like me just randomly picking up a board, like a war game, and never playing it really. Like
but on the upside, it only has 8 miniatures, so
that is true. And
you can paint them really quickly.
They do have hexagonal bases, which does make them
it's so
the
good.
best bases. So
they are, and the minis look a lot better than they did in the past. So
yeah, they're very nice.
They're not Games Workshop level, but they're getting there.
If you've seen Gundams, they certainly influence each other.
Well, I think BattleTech's basically takes a lot from them. I mean, they took some designs, even it's knowledge, but it's like I'm not a Gundam guy. I'm not like that in that Japanese. For me, Giant Robots was always BattleTech. I never owned that game, but I played it as a kid.
Yeah,
I think I told the story once how we were like in school, and I was always drawing like Battle Max. So I'm interested. I'll get this and I'll review it on the show. Really excited about that. And then just one last thing, I got a press release today from Wargaming at work. I found it really interesting. So they're opening a studio in Guildford, in Surrey. And they're working on an unannounced free-to-play multi-platform MMO using the Unreal Engine. And this might be something interesting for Dave as well. So the studio, that there are 125 devs, and they're recruiting right now. The studio had Sean Decker, who used to be SVP at CCP. He was at DICE, then at EA, and for 5 years he was senior vice president at CCP.
Fair. Because did you see the thing about CCP?
Well, yes. I mean, didn't we? I think we talked about this in the chat at some point. Yeah.
I think we did. Yes, we talked about it on the old Discord. CCP have got bought by, is it Black?
Some Chinese place
online. I think. No, Blackstar is an amplifier. Some like sort of potentially Korean MMO company, and they're massively free to play, and
so Eve's
nickel and dime for everything. So
Black Desert, that's a Pearl Abyss is the company. Black Desert Online is the game.
Yeah, it's like super anime looking and like has microtransactions. It turns out like a lot of the people I know who play Eve also play this, so they're not too bothered. But equally, some people are a little bit miffed and sort of, I don't know. It's generally kind of like not a good thing, I don't think, basically.
Yeah, and I see on LinkedIn that Decker left in March. So this might have something to do with it.
Maybe.
It's not Wargaming. Interesting. So they didn't have a studio in the UK before. I think they were all in... So they have studios in Russia, I think in China, and in Malta, I think.
Yeah.
Where all the rich Russians are anyway.
I think Malta is good from the financial point as well, for all the
tax,
sort of payment stuff and tax and
Wargame is a really interesting company to me. I mean, I find it really interesting what they're doing with World of Tanks, which is basically their one game that makes all their money, and it's interesting. It's a bit they make a lot of money off it sounds like they pulled off what Star Citizen wants to do, where they have lots of like what people call whales, like people who spend thousands of euros on their game.
Yeah, mad money on premium ammunition.
And
do you still play World of Warships, Dave?
I have it installed. I haven't really played video games in a long time, other than I played 2 games a fortnight.
Are you turning into some hermit? It's like you're leaving Twitter. Sorry. You're not playing games. You're moving to some cabin. You want a cabin.
I want a socialist cabin in the woods. Yeah. No,
he's getting a cat, Fab.
Yeah.
It's written in the stars that he's going to turn into me.
Definitely not a hermit. I go on bike rides. I go running. No, I just haven't. Oh, I played 2 Point Hospital.
Oh yes, I saw that. Did you have a day off or something? I was working and I saw you on Steam.
I had Friday off last week because I had a spare day off that I had to take. And it's good.
It's like
I
a
would like
sim hospital.
Yeah, so
room.
it's if anyone remembers Theme Hospital, it's
Theme Hospital.
basically a
Yeah.
new version of that. And I have played a couple of levels of it, and I've sort of like completed the levels, like because there's like it's a bit like Angry Birds in that you can get 1 star and that's technically finishing it, but you get 3 stars and that's like 100%ing the level. And I've done that for a couple of levels, and it's interesting. It's very fun. It's got a kind of cool management kind of thing. It's very funny. None of the sicknesses, like none of the illnesses in it are real. There's like ridiculous things like people who think they're rock stars, they all look like just like dressed as rock stars. There's like a thing where if you're lightheaded, you have a light bulb for a head. So you have to build like the light bulb removal room where they like unscrew the light bulb and then like 3D print you a head and stick it on. Like it's quite funny. But
That's
like
very good.
I don't see how it's going to like vary up the gameplay. So like it feels like every level is going to be following the same path of like I build the things, I build all the rooms, and then every hospital will basically be the same. So I'm gonna play some more levels and see how that changes it, because I think I've just finished the tutorial. I think it's just introduced all the concepts.
According to what I've heard on Crate and Crowbar, it's gonna get interesting.
Okay, cool, because that was the kind of one fear I had, that it would just become like, oh, now just do it with less money, or like, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. But I've been playing that. It's quite good. I played 2 games of Fortnite, Fab, and my review of it is, it sure is a fucking like getting shot from far away simulator. It's fine. It's not like I don't see the hype. Like I look at it and go like, man, I don't really see why it's this popular. But like, if I were like, I don't know, 14, I would probably quite enjoy it, playing it with like friends and stuff.
Be careful. Fortnite has now been cited in more than 200 divorce proceedings.
Yeah, that's mad.
And it's dangerous.
I played 2 games.
But you're not
of it.
married, so I guess you're okay.
Yeah, and also like I played 2 games of it. I got shot by someone I didn't know, couldn't see from far away, and then it's like, oh, okay, fine, cool, I'm done.
Then you might as well play PUBG with the with the four stamped.
Yeah, with
exactly.
the cool
So,
people.
like,
Ranger Dave.
I think it's a bit like the Xbox versus the PS3, and it like entirely depends what your friends are.
You mean one is great and one is shit?
Well, I mean, there's that hot take, but they just like just play the game where your friends are, because it'll be better with friends.
No, play the correct game, which is PUBG and the PS4.
I think the German Forstamp needs an exchange student from Wales, Ranger Dave, coming over to Puchinki.
He needs, we need you back again, and you need a better. You need a more. I'm thinking you need a more. Wallisian, is that right? Wallisian name.
Yeah.
Welsh, a more Welsh name,
a more woolly name. I can source that. I can come up with.
Yeah.
That's one of the little thingies they've added to. I wanted to call it Theme Hospital, but 2 Point Hospital is that there's like a social aspect to it. So like it's like uploads your progress to the service, and then it tells you how people on your friends list are doing. So you can have little competitions where like you say go, and then like over the next 90 in-game days, like there's a leaderboard of who treats the most people, or like how like accurately you do stuff, or like how many people die in your hospital, and obviously the lower the better, stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But I only have like 2 people on my friends list who have played it, and I've already like overtaken one of them in terms of how far I've got in the game.
Are you telling me I need to buy this?
I don't know if it'd be your thing.
I've never played Theme Hospital really, but
I mean, it's like 24 quid, so it's kind of like the sweet
and
spot
you'll
of
completely lose. Like next year when I'm a freelancer, your leaderboard is going to be treated a million people because he's not working.
so far, I would recommend it. If the Crate and Crowbar said that the interesting things happen later on, that is
yes. On there, Chris and Pip really liked it, I think. So you should love it. Right. Speaking about games, let's quickly get into the Bard's Tale 4. So there were basically 2 Bard's Tale games in the 80s. which people liked. There were dungeon crawlers. I never really played them. I probably never even played them. And then there was like a Bard's Tale. Oh no, there were 3 Bard's Tale games, right, in the 80s. And then there was one in 2004, which is like a really different take. And now In Exile Entertainment, which I like, they're good people, have remade Bard's Tale. It's like a reimagining. It's called the Bard's Tale 4 Barrows Deep. And it's still a dungeon crawler, but it has more like RPG elements. It's a lot modernized. You start like in a town. It's first person. You walk around in the town. You can talk to people. And then once you get into dungeons, you have you still have like it's like an old school dungeon crawler, like before when Dave was born. Like I can remember early 90s, I was playing Eye of the Beholder.
Oh yeah,
classic Dungeons and Dragons.
So good.
Yeah, and it's basically that. It's first person. You have like the dungeon in front of you, and then you have like this grid. You can turn that off, but it's the same mechanics. It's turn-based combat then, and I played about 4 hours of it. I got a review copy, but mainly because I wanted to look at the Linux version. For a while, it sounded like it might be out. So that game we're recording this on the 18th. Game was released today. So I'm not breaking any embargoes here, just making sure. And it sounded for a while that they might release the Linux version at the same time, but they didn't. And they say it's going to be out this year. But so I just played it a bit, and I must say, I thought Mike would like it. It has a lot of soul. It's very nicely done. So it has it's a very it has like lots of Scottish and Irish accents in it, and so obviously being bards, there's like music in it. Like you can be like a kind of like a fighter, or you can be like a rogue, the normal stuff. You can be like a wizard, and then you have to drink like mana potions or whatever to get your mana back. But if you a bard, then you have to drink alcohol, and that refills kind of like your bard powers, and you sing songs.
Very good.
And there are songs in this game everywhere. Like when you start off in the town, there's like a lady singing at the side of the road, and it's just lovely. It's like it's Irish, old Irish, as we talked about last time on the show. When I learned it. In university we called it Irish Gaelic, but I guess it's I looked this up, and I think Mike's right. I think in English it's actually called Irish.
I've a few times, by people here that I have to call it Irish, and
I think we were calling it Irish Gaelic to differentiate it from like Irish as a modern, dialect, I guess. But anyway,
I mean, yeah, because it is a living language, especially on the West Coast.
Yeah, so you would call it like Old Irish or something, but I guess it's not old because it's still a living, as you say,
Yeah.
But
and it's interesting because obviously my son is getting Irish lessons in school because it's mandatory over here, obviously.
Right. That is a good way to get your kids into a language. Mandatory lessons of it.
Hey, that's how I learn English. Don't knock it.
Yeah.
That's how I learn English.
That's how I not learned Welsh.
Well, I gotta say one thing while we're at this topic. So my other motivation to learn English was video games.
Yeah,
a lot of them weren't translated. So, but what helped was definitely the mandatory thing in school. I wouldn't have stuck with it. But for example, I didn't learn French that way. So it's kind of like if you have a second thing you can get them interested in, that would be amazing.
Yeah, if all the Warhammer fiction was in Welsh, I'd probably be fluent, but it's not.
Yeah, or if there's some get the Lord of the Rings connection or something. I mean, this game is so lovely because they use that. Like they have, oh God, I have to look this up.
But it's a multiplayer one as well, isn't it, Fab? Because
Yes.
Mikkel, our friend whom we play Divinity with, he actually was quite interested in it.
Yes,
so-
I see. I was just looking at the store page on Steam, and I see like his icon that he's interested. So yes, it's a multiplayer. It's a dungeon crawler. So I haven't played it with more people, so I don't know how that works.
Let's make a pact, like many of the others we've done. But let's at least try and say.
I played
that if-
Fortnite, goddammit.
Yeah, it's like I did when you asked of me.
Well, you go back to your cat. Mike and me are gonna play video games.
Oh, Fab! Oh, that was
Low blow.
That was nearly heartless there, but it's so funny. I'm sorry, Dave.
It's okay, we'll have a cat. It'll
Yeah.
be wonderful. I'll get
Why have a cat?
I'm
Oh,
like-
that's brilliant.
I'm gonna be
That's brilliant.
just like streaming it constantly on Instagram.
So what's the pact?
That we should play Bard's Tale
Okay.
as a group at a certain point.
We
think.
should do that. So I think so it has some weaknesses. So one of the big weaknesses I feel is like so the dungeons you get in later, and I've seen screenshots and videos, they look amazing. I haven't been there, but they look amazing. Problem is the start area and the game's quite ugly. That town, it seems like they didn't have enough budget to make it really look good. And it's always a problem if your first area in your game looks shit. That's always no good. But it has a lot of soul. So I read up about this a little bit, and they recruited the Scottish folk singer called Julie Fowlis, who sings in Scottish Gaelic, as Wikipedia says. And she wrote a lot of the songs, and I think she sings in it as well. And there's this whole little bit D&D element of the of the fiction, the backstory, and then just like the Scottish and Irish influence, the accents. It has a really nice charm to it, I feel. I really like that about it. So it starts with when you start a game, there's like a scene of a bard singing to like 3 elves. And he sings this song. And it starts like, oh god, I my uke's in the other room, but he's got like this harp, and he goes like, what is it, like a summer's day in Scarborough. This, I don't know, the air had turned to snow or something like this, and it's lovely. Like it's got that little bit Lord of the Rings feeling. You know, not that Lord of the Rings feeling from the movies, but before that, I don't know. I read like the book when I was 8 or something, and my dad was like smoking a pipe in the chair, you know, and I was sitting on the floor next to a fire, like you know, on holiday and
And it was
reading.
like, and on the
Sounds
15th
awesome.
day of camping, the hobbits doth found
Yeah,
a thing. And
yeah.
as you know, I invented loads of language. Here's some poetry.
Yes, but then imagine that, and your dad's like smoking a pipe, and it's like late in the early, like in the evening, and it's cold outside, and I got that feeling from this game, which is quite remarkable. So it's got heart, like even if it's got bugs or like I don't know, I encountered a few bugs that weren't bad, but you know, also I was playing a beta version, so I don't know if they're still in there, but even if the first area isn't like so beautiful, it's still it's I can feel it has soul. And I would like, if people are interested in this, and if you're old, not like Dave, but like Mike and me, and if you can remember the dungeon crawlers from the 80s and early 90s, then this might actually be interesting.
I'm sold. It was like a Mike feeling cozy bingo card. You just completely filled out 100% there. So,
Yeah, I was thinking you might like this. Oh god, I just mistyped something and Windows went bring. Just imagine that was a harp. Yeah. So
I'm looking for the white ships to take me home.
I'm just wondering. I haven't seen the multiplayer stuff, so I'm looking how I'm trying to figure out live on the show how this works.
Yeah, but let's return to it in another episode. And
you're right.
We when we're tired of Divinity, might never happen. But if we need a little break from the excellent game that's Divinity,
sounds good.
We can throw ourselves at Bart's Tale.
Yeah. So then let's talk about Warhammer 40k.
It's Angels of Death episode. I should have looked up what number was the last one.
In a segment, the Discord might like.
Some people will go wild for.
So this is Warhammer. Angels of Death episode 29. We had 28.
There we go. Mark it in the deep lore.
Wow, we've eclipsed that show quite
a lot. Yeah,
quite a lot. Yeah,
because we were very irregular with that. But
also it just died. There was like an episode I never released. I still feel bad about that.
Yeah, same. There are like some like three main threads of 40k chat. This episode of Angels of Death. There's Kill Team, which has sort of happened since we last did Warhammer chat. I've read some books. I'm sure Mike read some books as well. Rogue Trader, which is kind of Kill Team based, and then our Fall Felterin fucking Progress. And yeah, what do you want to kick it off with? Do you want to kick off in Progress? Let's kick off in Progress. I have done literally nothing I said I would. I think the last time we talked, I had assembled all the dudes, all the Blood Angels I was going to do. And I think I'd primed them. Maybe I hadn't. I've primed in black all of the Death Company, which is all of the army, and I've played a game with it, and it wasn't very fun because they changed the rules. So,
by the way, I'm sorry for my Windows. Just for the listener, my Windows keeps going bring. I'm sorry for that.
We can't hear it, so
go on. Sorry.
So I've not really done anything with that because I've not had any trips to Warhammer World to play, so I've not had like the urge to paint loads of Marines that are going to be like ineffective. So I have like basically gone like super down the rabbit hole in terms of Kill Team, despite not playing it at all, because it's a cool hobbying thing.
I can kind of understand why. I had completely ignored it, right? But then I read a bit about it, and I was like, this is cool. I think the Danish guys, when I was down there with, Rasmus was talking about this as well. I was like, wow, this is interesting. And I have now bought the book, and it's on the way, says Games Workshop. So I read it over
a month.
I really hope it'll be here so I can read it over my holiday. So it's got till Friday or Saturday to turn up.
The things that appeal to me are there's two main things. Is one, it's like a physically smaller board. So I can fit like a 3-4 player game on my kitchen table comfortably without any overhanging, without any like hacks to make a huge table, which is a huge plus really, because we don't like we have a house now, but we don't really have a space to do that comfortably. At least in a way I'd want to do it. So like it's smaller. Actually, there's three things. The second thing I hadn't really thought about much is it's kind of encouraging 3-dimensional sort of like first floors, second floors of buildings and stuff more. Definitely. Because you pack the terrain more densely, it encourages you to like do that. The terrain kits that come with it are really nice and have that built in. And I guess Necromunda was kind of doing that as well. And also
that is, by the way, that's something we need to talk about in a bit. Like Necromunda and shit, but
the thing for me that Kill Team has over Necromunda is that because it's got the nice thing that you make a roster and you give lads names and you give them a story and you make them unique, like Necromunda, but it's in a setting I prefer. I have no attachment to Necromunda really. I never played it. I've never really read any of the book stuff around it. So taking that kind of like skirmish thing where you have unique people and putting that in a setting I know better is way nicer. But also it's the taking 40k and sort of distilling it into fewer units is something I quite like. I've the guys in the Yogscast have been playing with some, basically they've been taking 40k units and then just like bringing them into Kill Team, and it seems to work for them. But I quite like, because I'm really stupid and I'm bad at games, I like having fewer decisions about what units to take. So like it's very easy just to take, the one or there's somewhere between like 2 and 4 choices of things you can take, which just makes list building easier for me. It makes like painting easier because I have like fewer things to paint. And because the armies are smaller, you can like spin up little projects. So I have been doing. I finally I've
just before you get into that, just very quickly, I looked this up and I think Bard's Tale 4 doesn't have multiplayer co-op.
Boo.
Oh, I think Mikkel actually convinced me that it was like that. So
we'll look more into that, but I just want to mention that in case people buy this.
Thanks for that disappointing telegram.
I'm sorry. So before you get into all of that, there's just one thing I wanted. So Kill Team looks really good. I really looks good to me. But there's one question I want to pose to you guys. I feel like Games Workshop has dropped the ball here in 2 things. I think they just got their branding wrong. It feels weird to me that we had Shadow War Armageddon, and then Necromunda, and now Kill Team, which are basically the same game.
They're all very... And I entirely agree with you on this, Fab, which is a rare occasion.
So there must have been some. They can't have planned this to be like that, right? There must have been some mix-up.
It does feel like one of those things that Google does, where like multiple teams are working on similar things, and they release 4 messenger applications at the same time. Yeah.
And I think, know that like I've heard that the Kill Team, like the design team, I think are the guys from Shadespire, which by all means is like a great game. So that probably explains why it's good, but
they are all very similar. Shadow War and Kill Team are very similar. They're basically that normal 40k, but a bit simplified.
But
Shadow War was sort of previous edition.
That's 7th edition.
And then Kill Team is like 8th edition simplified.
And I don't want to get the argument that they're all the same. I just feel like they're the same niche. They're like a squad combat game in 40k.
They are all like skirmish things
with RPG elements
in 40k, and it's a bit weird. Like I have seen comments about Necromunda not getting the best support. Like it's basically a year after the release, over a year after the release, and they still haven't released all the gangs yet, which is kind of weird.
Don't you feel like okay, Kill Team has gotten a lot of traction. We've seen this. It's pretty much like Shadespire. And I feel like the other two. Sorry, yeah.
It's because you can like. There was like support. Shadow War basically was like, here's a rule book, get on with it. That was it. That was literally all Shadow War was. Kill Team, there's way more support in terms of boxes and rules, and they're going to be running like organized play things for it with some prize support, which is pretty cool. But both of those you could bring existing models in and use them straight away. I think the kind of off-putting thing for me, if you ignore that I don't really care about the theme of Necromunda, the off-putting thing for me is that like all of those models, I can basically just use them in Necromunda, and I have to get the Necromunda ones to do it. So like, immediately I'm like,
so I think that's why Kill Team is a smarter game for Games Workshop, because it ties into more of their stuff.
Like they've put a lot more sustained sort of marketing.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel to you like the other 2 games are dead now? Like
totally. Like,
I guess that
are dead.
I don't think with Shadow War it's that much a problem, because that just feels like a one-off box game.
Yeah,
but Necromunda,
it was just like a one-off book game. But Necromunda is still getting support. They did just release the Fnatic lads. They just released a new gang, so it's not dead, but like the hype has definitely died down a lot, and the people playing it are going to be playing it for a while. So, but the Kill Team is where the money is.
So my other points, one you won't agree with,
is the name.
I'm gonna the name. So I feel like So I definitely feel like the kill team, and I'm gonna put a link to Lexicanum in the wiki, in the show notes to the Lexicanum wiki. The kill team, previously spelled with a dash or a hyphen, is a, let me quote, kill teams are the standard organizational unit of the Death Watch Space Marines. And that's what they were to me for 20 years.
Now,
whoa.
In 2001, you didn't read Necropolis.
I completely understand that they retconned this, and that's what they're gonna do. But I do feel like they just did this because Kill Team is just a great brand. It's a good name for a skirmish game. It's a good name for a skirmish game in the 40k universe. And that's why they retconned all the lore, and that's what's pissing me off.
They didn't retcon it, though. Things have been called Kill Team in the lore for a good...
So you're telling me they retconned it in 2001?
No, I think you're just being extremely prescriptive about this.
Yes, that's
No way.
What, me?
It's like you don't want to accept that maybe kill team is just a very generic term. I don't know.
Well, to me, it is not a generic term. It's like saying there are Necron kill teams, right? Okay, and I need to shout less, otherwise my wife's gonna be mad at me. But so saying that there is Necron kill teams to me is like saying, well, Necrons now have chapters. That was just a very I don't know. For me, that kill team thing was an amazing fantasy. I once read like a book or a short story. I don't know what it was, like old school years ago, about. I think they're in an omnibus now about a kill team, right?
Was it some of Steve Harper's stuff?
It might be. It was just amazing. It's like these Space Marines. I read about Space Marines and they were badass, but then there were these Space Marines and they came together from all these different chapters, and they had this special camaraderie, but also animosity between them, because suddenly you have like Dark Angels and Ultramarines, and they have to work together. And they had like this,
Steve Parker, actually. Sorry. Let me just
I think that's him. Yeah. I think it's in an omnibus now. I think I read them again. I think there's like a Death Watch omnibus where that's in now. And it was just so great. And they were like the Grey Knights before Grey Knights existed, right? They had like that armor, and they were they were special to me. And it feels bad, like if taking that, okay, every race, okay, this is just a kill team. It's just another word for squad, right? It's like an elite squad.
Just a word for squad.
It cheapens my fantasy and my childhood. And fuck you, I don't like it.
All those books still exist. You can go read those.
Yeah, but it hurts my emotions, Dave. It's not very inclusive.
Did the
too
children's
inclusive.
miniature game offend you?
I don't want fucking Necrons in my kill team.
That's fine. Make a Space Marine one.
So that's what I'm thinking. So because I like that kind of game. I think it's great. I was actually talking, I think, with Rasmus when I was up in Copenhagen. How we were talking about Speed Freaks, like and how I used to like Gorkamorka. And I like that RPG element. And I think he kind of convinced me that Kill Team has that, what I actually do want.
Yes.
And
it's
so
like a campaign of Kill Team.
Yeah, so that's why I got the book. And just to be the crotchety, grumpy old man that I am, I'm just gonna make a Deathwatch Kill Team, I think. Because I always wanted one, like for 40k, but like in 40k, they don't really make they were never really well integrated, I felt like, And
I'll tell you what, actually, the word on the street is that Deathwatch is sort of pound for pound the best kill team you could make at the moment.
They should be that original kill team.
Yeah, but there you go.
Also, they have like the best box, like the Kill Team box to buy is like ludicrous in terms of the amount of customization you can. So the Deathwatch Kill Team like Marines box of like 5 lads is just like packed with every special weapon you could ever want and all the shoulder pads. It's really
Literal Fab is assembling a literal kill team.
of
I
literal
think you
space
yeah.
marines.
I think you should prove that is the only kill team in town.
By killing all the other
I'll
guys.
make it like really, really stereotypical as well. Like the captain will be like a ultramarine
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Of course,
You know,
yes.
like the communication specialist would he be like an Iron Hand?
Yeah.
I mean, just do cheese with cheese on top. Like the close combat specialist will be Blood Angel.
Of course,
and,
Yeah, on the verge of
the plasma wielding. It's a Dark Angel.
Yep,
and,
yep.
So that's,
Cheese with
Obviously,
cheese
there are
on
no
top.
Dark
I
Angels
like it.
'cause They're a traitor legion, but that's fine.
That is your
I just wanna
interpretation of the facts, pretty boy.
Yeah, so we should do that because I mean it's going to be a far more reasonable for us to like cross country borders to play with each other.
Yes, that is very true, and I'm gonna say, maybe
November.
I'll finish a board.
November. Oh my
Finish a
god,
board.
you just said that shit. Oh god.
Yeah,
November.
Fab, you can knock it out in November.
Yeah, November in Denmark.
I can just
November,
make.
Denmark.
I just can make
You're
a
on.
Dark Angels kill team. I've got
I'm
enough
already
Dark
really poor,
Angels
so
here.
I can't do that.
No, but let Fab walk the talk here, and see if he can.
He's doing it again. Are you wearing the sunglasses?
I am. At least metaphorically speaking. I am, yes.
So I'm yeah.
So let's see. What could I bring? Well,
I was going to say.
Yeah,
So
what have you been
I'm
building?
boring. Like I'm the boring literal guy with the literal kill team. So what do you guys? Dave's building Ultramarines, I'm guessing.
But
let Mike go first.
Yeah, Mike, do your. So we
What
finish
are you
our
doing?
hobby progress.
Orcs.
what are you saying? Orcs are the best.
Space Marines.
Whenever I rented the car the other day, right? And whenever I rent a car and it's red, I've been saying for about 20 years since I played Gorka Morka, the red ones go faster.
I said that too, and no one ever
And
gets
now
it.
it's Katie's doing this. So I just had a car and I drove up and she's like, red ones go faster, don't they?
Oh,
That's why our car is red.
there you go.
Good reason.
All you need is a yellow half moon painted up. Or sun or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm not very good with orcs, so I will stay away from them. I'm sorry. But late at night, when I'm sort of between sleep and being awake, and I'm falling into the sweet caress of dreams,
Turbo sleep.
I hear a voice going,
Blood for the blood.
use your Dark Imperium box. Make a Death Guard kill team. Do it. So I can only listen to the voices from the void, and let's say I will meet you on the field of battle with my Death Guard in kill team.
That sounds amazing.
Father Nurgle.
That sounds good.
Will meet you. Yeah.
And they're nice. They're nice, chunky,
Oh, they're
big
so nice.
chunky models, aren't they?
The thing was, you know what happened when we went after Sweden, and I got back with the guys to Denmark, and basically they had got me the Imperial Knights Codex, which was really nice of them. Unfortunately, I had already bought it. So when I got back to Denmark, I went into the local shop where they bought it and exchanged it for another codex. And I was looking at all the codexes, and I was like, what should I do? And then the Death Guard codex sort of fell out of the bookcase there when it was standing, and it was a sign, obviously,
Aside
Father
from
Nurgle. Father Nurgle moves in mysterious ways, but he just wants everybody to be together in the sweet caress of entropy. But anyway, I looked at it and thought this could be kind of cool, and I do have models for it. And then I started reading it, and oh my god, Death Guard, they're so cool. It's like building an army of that would just be so fun. That's a bit out in the future, I think. But if you start a kill team, you're already beginning to build
like
your
the
army
core,
for
right?
40k as well.
Yeah, you should.
There you go.
So there's one model. There's this guy with the fly. He's got like
There's
a
so
fly.
many guys with different things.
No.
There's a guy with a bell on his back.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
and
great. But there's like one guy who has a fly flying over his head. He's great. Oh, I love that
Yeah,
And
there's
there's
a guy
like
who's
a
actually like
cultist with a lab
shaped like a
coat.
fly or something like that, or the poxwalkers, all the
Yeah, one of them has like a lab coat. It's
No, but
amazing.
there are all sorts of people that were turned into like Nurgle mutants, so there's all sorts of like laborers and guardsmen and whatever civilian you can think of that's been turned into a horrible slabbering mutant, it's just I think I'm feeling it's maybe time to just expand my collection a bit, because I've been very Imperium. I've always been the good boy, and my friends in the past have made fun of me for being, the Emperor's lapdog. But I think maybe now time is to change tack. And today, actually, I didn't write this in the notes, but I introduced my son to the first edition of the Warhammer Conquest. I don't know if you've seen that. So
is this the children's books?
Not the children's books, but what Games Workshop have done is they've teamed up with the Hachette, which is the sort of French company that does the sort of subscription service for models and things like that. So you can you can buy the first four issues in your newsagent. So basically, what they did was
since 1995, I've been thinking, when are they going to do this?
That's the thing. This is why I like Warhammer, because there was a Lord of the Rings one of these, and that's why I got into Warhammer.
So you get like a thing, and then you get models, right?
Kind of a thing with some paints and some rules.
Exactly. Actually, what they've done is, if you subscribe, as far as I understand it, you will receive. I don't think it's weekly, but you will have 1 or 2 shipments a month. I
think it's
a couple of things.
Yeah, it's bi-weekly. It's every other week.
Bi-weekly, yeah. So basically, what they did was they have 4 introductory issues. So the first one only cost £2, and in that you had 3 intercessors and 3 pots of paint, a brush, and then this Conquest sort of introductory book. So
you're losing money by not buying it.
Exactly. Like,
and they're ultramarine colors, the bastards. Fuck them.
I mean
that's pretty
anyway,
boys.
Like, I was in Eason's, which is the Irish.
Do you get the whole thing they're showing with all the scenery and stuff?
Well, that's the thing. So what they're going to do is, I think it's like, what was it again? 80 shipments or something. I can't remember. But anyway, I think it'll run into like the end of next year or something like that. But if you subscribe for it, yes, you will get like a complete Primaris Marine army with Dreadnought and bikes and all the Primaris characters, lots of stuff. And then also Death Guard.
Yeah.
So like a complete Death Guard army, and then you get all these big pieces of scenery as well, right? So I think,
and the models are like, they're the one-piece ones, right? So you don't even have to build.
They're the easy to assemble ones, yeah. So the demographic for this would be kids and
why the fuck didn't they have this when I was a kid?
Exactly.
My parents would have despaired.
If they if you look at it, yes, you will spend over about a year and a half. You will spend £600 or something like that, right?
Of course, yeah.
But you're getting nearly 900 or £1,000 worth of stuff. So, whatever way you chop it up, it's a decent proposal, I think. Anyway, if you really want to start and you're interested in one or both of the armies. But anyway, like £2 for this magazine, I picked it up, and today I sat down with my son, and it was easy for him to sort of clip these Space Marines and put them together. And I talked a bit to him about how, we used a little bit of glue and stuff like that. And it was the nicest 40 minutes I've spent with him in a while, where he just sat down and put it together, and he kind of understood what I did. When sometimes he's going like, why is daddy up in his attic man cave, and what is he doing with all the little stupid figurines? But he actually got it right, and he seemed interested. So for £2 I got that experience, and maybe I will buy a few more of them.
The best dad.
I
ever.
I mean, it's also very selfish of me because one day I want him to play Kill Team against me. So,
Still, my point stands. You are the best dad ever.
so the thing is, like, I think Kill Team really like it opens up this avenue, and then they're doing these other things where they want people like us to follow them for a long time, right? So
God,
they
you
want
don't know how close I am to subscribing to this. The only reason why I don't do it is because my wife will kill me, and also I don't have faith that they will deliver this comes Brexit.
Oh, well, it's Hachette, so I think they could probably figure something out because I think it's still a French-based company.
I'm going to start filling this out and see what it says when it knows I'm in Germany. So you
sorry,
keep going.
yes. You can only do it for the UK and Ireland. It's only UK and Ireland.
And Ireland. Why is it and Ireland? You're part of the EU. What?
I know, but that's what it says. UK.
I guess
Ireland.
if they're serving Northern Ireland, they've already put them on the boat. So. I don't know. Fuck it.
You are a bunch of racist bastards. Now I'm sitting here and I can't fucking. My God, I feel happy for you.
So if Isaac likes the Primaris Marines, I'll probably then do the Death Guard part of the first few issues and then see where we go from there. It's really cool.
Absolute best.
And then I will meet you in Denmark with my Death Guard.
Oh God! Now, did I just commit to something else?
You did. Yeah, totally did. Yeah.
Why is Dave saying yes? He's gonna come to Denmark as well, isn't he?
I no. Oh God.
Do you think
you can't now say no? You just committed me.
I've just committed you. Yeah, I've volunteered you.
Could we get Char to play Kill Team?
I can send her some Space Marines. Mm-hmm. I'll send Space Marines to people.
Yeah. Do like a curate a Kill Team for Char and send it to her.
It'll look cool, but probably be terrible.
She's painted some minis, right?
Yeah.
So let's just brainstorm this. So what kill teams do we have? What kill team factions are there, and which one would Char be?
Every Warhammer faction has a kill team.
I think she would be a good Necron player, to be honest. I think she gets the death to the living vibe.
Yeah, that's legit.
I would have said Dark Elves.
Oh yes,
but Necrons
maybe a little bit too, I don't know, sexually charged or something.
Maybe either of those.
Yeah.
Space Marines, they're the best. Everyone should play Space Marines.
You can't give Char Space Marines.
That's
for boring old farts like me.
I was just thinking, like, what ones don't we have? So we've got Death Guard. Fab's doing Death Watch. I'm doing. I guess I could do Ultramarines. I could do Blood Angels. And
Didn't you start? So you haven't decided yet.
Well, I mean, I've decided that I'm painting lots of things. I've obviously got existing Ultramarines already painted and ready to go. I've got technically some Blood Angels. I have. What do I have? I've got.
Did you buy the starter set?
No, so I've been. Right. I didn't buy the Kill Team starter box because I didn't.
And you can't. It's sold out.
Yeah.
No.
I just bought the some terrain and the book separately, but I bought. What did I buy? I bought some Eldar. So I've got some Dire Avengers. I'm not very good at Eldar names. Dire Avengers, the blue lads, and some Guardians, and some Rangers, the guys who are snipery.
Yeah,
got those. Yeah. I've got some lad with wings. Is he an Autarch?
Could be an Autarch or be the.
He's got wings and a sword.
Hawks were
not. Yeah, it's not.
No, they have jetpacks, right?
Yes,
I think it's an Autarch. So I got that, which is more than enough to make a kill team. So that's my Eldar kill team. And then I bought some Tau, and I've assembled the gun drones, and I've done 5 normal fire warriors.
As soon as he's not on Twitter, he's what?
Each of that, and I've got a captain for them, and then I'm sorry, like a sergeant in that 5.
You're getting productive now.
And then I built the other 5 because the fire warrior box is really cool because you can make the normal fire warriors or you can make the breacher fire warriors. So I built another 5 that are breachers, and then I've got a Pathfinder box as well, so I can do those. But people are saying they're not very good, and they're going to be like,
hold on.
Yeah,
Char needs to be Harlequins.
yeah.
So I was
Harlequins. That is totally her.
So I was thinking. I was looking at this, and I was thinking Chaos Space Marines.
Make the word bearers.
No, the word bearers is
Char is the bearer of the word.
Well,
she writes
okay.
words.
I can't object to that. I have some word bearers in my cupboard right here. But yeah, I think maybe you're right. Maybe it is Harlequins.
Yeah, because none of us have that. And then I've also got my Caroleans as well. Imperial Guards with the theme of Sweden.
Did you notice that they keep, like, I'm reading this faction stuff, right? On Kill Team. And they stopped saying Space Marines. They just say Astartes now. Even Chaos Space Marines are now just like heretic Astartes.
Astartes, yeah.
That's the trademark stuff going on again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Joe, if you're listening, you know the Harlequins you always wanted to do? That's your next project.
Okay, so Joe's Harlequin.
Do it for Char.
Oh wow, that would be amazing. Just send her.
4 years later, he's like, I finally finished.
He's gonna
They're
kill
so
me.
hard
now.
to paint.
He's really gonna kill me.
Yeah. So, I mean, those things are kind of like what I've been doing in building those kill teams. So
we really have to. We have to ask Chana what her opinion is.
There's so much scope.
You're gonna play Warhammer. There's no choice there. But what Warhammer will you play?
Maybe she's just gonna come out of the left field and she's like, "I'm with Fab. It's gotta be Death Watch. There's only one kill team. I've read up on this. All the other stuff's bullshit, and it's spelled with a dash."
and
like
we have
Spider-Man.
Yep.
Kill -team.
And of course we have to explain that Char will be in Denmark for 3 months. I think it wasn't it? So that's why it makes sense that she would be there and Fab would be there visiting, and I'm gonna be there in November as well. So
Dave's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Dave's pecking the cat, and
I'll be there with my new fence panel. I'll be paddling it along the sea. I'm pretty sure I can do that. all my money on fences, man.
Is this under the Deep Lore meetup? In inverted commas,
Yeah, the meetup that Dave will arrive by fence man.
Have you turned into Trump? Are you just building a big wall now?
No, so that we had like a big. I'm pretty sure I've written about the big pile of garden waste we got left, full of like branches and ivy and.
No.
So yeah, we moved in, and like behind the shed there was like this big mound of like sort of just like bits they trimmed off trees and stuff and just left there. And the other day I was kind of like working my way through like burning all the wood just because there's so much of it. It's the only way to get rid of it. And I got rid of all of it. And then it turned out that the pile of wood was actually supporting the fence. So the fence came down.
Oh, no.
So we are sans fence right now. We've just had a quote for a replacement fence, and it turns out fences are really expensive. I don't know why Trump ever wanted to build one.
Oh, you want to build a wall? That's even more expensive.
Even more expensive. The concrete bits cost money.
But hang on, like you should get your neighbors to pay for your fence, right?
Right.
We looked at the deeds of the house, and it's like the one boundary that we don't like. We are the sole like maintainer of that boundary.
Well, that hasn't stopped Trump. Come on, be creative.
But we have like other like left and right are different in that one is shared and one is like the other person is responsible for it. So like it kind of averages out fine, but it just means that this one is our sole responsibility. Pain in the ass, which means I got to spend money that I would spend on Warhammer on like not, you know.
Can't you just like assemble Citadel scenery? And...
I could probably take the sprues, couldn't I? I could take the sprues and make a palisade wall.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah, I guess. Because I'm good at making terrain now, so I guess
yeah, it's just a different
bigger,
scale
right?
of
It's bigger on
terrain.
the
Just
terrain.
scale, yeah. Just scale it up.
Yeah. So that kind of I sort of mentioned all the Kill Team E model things I've made, but I've also done terrain because you need a thing to play on. Because that's another thing. Like the boards that the Kill Team box comes with don't really excite me. They're kind of like.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
it's
cool.
You're starting out, yeah.
They're kind of cool, like Shadespire things, and like they're kind of industrial or like they're all unanimously industrial, aren't they? And I kind of wanted to make something different, and I realized subconsciously that I just wanted to make all the terrain that I never did as a kid for Lord of the Rings. So I embarked on the Kill Team board project, which I've been documenting on my blog. There's 5 blogs, like blogs, posts,
blog
whatever.
posts. Please don't say blogs.
There were 5 blogs, Fab. I set up 5 separate websites.
Yes, exactly.
And it's gone quite well now. So I think last night I've reported that I planned to make 4 15-inch by 15-inch boards that would be enough for like a 3-player game. And then I went to the shop and it immediately fell apart because I couldn't buy 4 of them. I had to buy 6. So I then magnetized them, and then I put texture on them using basically like crack filler. So if you had like a crack in a wall, you'd fill it with kind of like that stuff. And it turned out the stuff I bought was like super dissolvable in water. So the moment I tried to apply paint to it, it just fucked off. So I had to redo it, which involved like getting some different stuff and then also working out how to treat the existing. Because like I started to paint one board and then realized it was just rubbing off all the filler. So I worked out how to fix it for the next one and then repaired the first one with some water resistant stuff. So that took a while. Basically, just like prime things and it'll be fine. Would you believe that you should prime things before painting them? Turns out that's true for terrain as well.
Yes.
So I fixed that, and then I painted it, and I thought it looked terrible. I've got photos on the blog, but basically, because I wasn't going to paint terrain with Games Workshop paints because it would bankrupt me. I bought like your standard like acrylic paints from an art shop, and I don't know, I kind of went like for 2 starker colors, I think, but I guess I'm going to live with it now. Like there's colors like burnt umber and burnt sienna and buff titanium and yellow ochre, which all sound like
titanium sounds like a wrestler.
All like normal paint names rather than like I don't know, Druki Violet and all.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah, so I kind of didn't really know what I was doing, so I ended up with this kind of quite a bold mud thing with obvious.
That looked very yellow, but
yeah, it did.
You turned it around.
I turned it around.
Although it still looks very grassy. It looks like
it's
too idyllic for my Dark Angels.
I kind of set out the goal that I was going to build the forest Bendel with like some big old trees and grass and stuff, and it was going to be so there's like a fluffy thing. So I kind of incorporated all the other like Sheffield lads armies in that. Like it was a moon. It was like somewhere that had like an imperial base that then got like lost to chaos, and that's why there's like imperial ruins there. But then like for some reason they left, and then just like nature took over for like a millennia. So there's trees and stuff. But then like there was like a Mechanicum expedition, and they built the riser pattern buildings as well as like the old administratum style stuff. So there's kind of like a vague story going on, but it's a bit. I just wanted to make it so it looked like Lord of the Rings, to be honest.
It's a bit like Stolenhagen space.
Yeah, except a bit more green.
Steinhag is very low saturation.
Yeah,
you just need a filter. You put a filter on Instagram.
Very high saturation. So so after I painted the board, I like dry brushed it, sort of try to blend things in, put some washes into like trying to blend it, and I was thinking it looked terrible.
Holy shit! I just looked at a picture and it's Eldar, and I didn't realize this when I read the blog post the first time. I think I thought they were just ultramarines. You painted them the same color, you bastard.
I did, yeah. I painted them blue. Well, tangent. I'm doing the Sam Hain
Yeah.
dudes,
Yes.
the red guys. But then I got a big lore debate. And Fab, you'll be pleased that I'm sticking with the lore because
yes.
Jack, who was on Angels of Death talking about Eldar ages ago, was like, you're not allowed to paint them red because they're supposed to be blue. Like, Dire Avengers are blue, and they are blue. There are no other colors. So I've gone with, like, correct color Dire Avengers, which are blue. My Guardians are red because they're actually, like, Sam Hain dudes.
Right.
So yeah, there's that. And then I took a leaf out of, like, Model Railway.
Same Han are great. They are.
Yeah, because they're they're the bike guys.
Yeah, and they have a
even though you
great
can't say bikes.
logo. I was briefly thinking of getting their logo tattooed. It's like a snake
Are they
with
the more sort of belligerent warrior soul types.
Yes, they have like the Wild Riders. They're the ones on all the jet bikes, and their logo is like a serpent with like a infinity loop over its head.
They're kind of a bit weird. They're like less. If I remember correctly, they're like a little bit less strict about the whole Path of the Eldar thing.
Less.
So like other Eldar are like, oh, they're a bit weird. But yeah, so So I want to break up the board. Didn't want it entirely brown, so I didn't want like the grassiness to come from like terrain that I shift around. I wanted there to be like turf on the board. So I looked up how Model Railway people do it, and it turns out it's really complicated. You basically get like tiny bits of foam that is called like Woodland Scenics blended turf, which is like a really fine powder of foam.
It's not a very like Games Workshop name.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like fully kind of Model Railway I've gone here because I've also bought ballast as well to do some rocks in the road. So you kind of like there's lots of diluting glue. They love diluting glue. So you like dilute PVA glue and you paint that on where you want grass, and then you just like pour this grass on top liberally, and then you like wait 14 hours and it dries because you've watered down PVA glue and it takes forever to dry. And then you sort of like vacuum up all the spare stuff and you like use a sock or whatever to catch all the spare things and harvest it for later. And then that, of course, isn't done yet because what you've got, if you can like imagine, you've got like the bits of turf sat on the surface and they're just like the bottom of them is touching the glue. So that it's only kind of glued in like a small area. So if you kind of like were to play on that surface, like all the grass would come off immediately. The next thing you'd have to do is like seal it. Everything in Model Railway scenery is sealing it. You've got to seal the terrain to make it durable for your train. Yes. And that involves making wet water. I'm doing the inverted commas, which is basically you take water.
They're like heavy water. They're like deuterium.
You put like a dash of like something like Flow-Aid, so like something like dishwater, like like washing up liquid kind of thing, like a little tiny bit of that in there, and then mix it up, and then that breaks the surface tension. So it means when you spray it on something, it just like seeps into everywhere, and it doesn't like make puddles. It just like seeps and seeps and seeps. So you like spray everything with that, and then you make even more watered down PVA, and you add a little bit of the Flow-Aid into that as well, and then you spray that on top of everything, and then because the first spray has like seeped into everywhere, so does the glue. And then basically, rather than just like gluing the bottom of the grass, like the glue is like embedded in the grass, so it makes it like a much tougher.
Where did you learn that? Some old man on a mountain, or?
Yeah, so there's this actually quite like a young guy. He's
on a mountain.
No, he's in Australia. So there's a guy called Luke Towan, and he makes amazing scenery on YouTube, and he makes it for like dioramas and model railways. And he's on Patreon as well, so I give him like $1 an episode, and he just like teaches you how to make scale models of stuff. And like I was just copying his videos on how to do this.
I love how the picture where you show your finished board, there's like your Roomba sitting in the backfield, just ready to hoover up all the crap.
There's a little Roomba on the floor. So yeah, at that point it's then sealed. That also works for sealing the ballast that you can glue on in much the same way. And then I plopped all my like scenery I'd painted previously. One cool thing is that I used that posable vine stuff. So what came out a year ago? They released like a box of skulls and some creeping vines, they're called, which is basically like a bendy plastic that you like super glue to your terrain before you prime it. And like you can get vines growing up things. So on my red terrain in my photos, which you can see linked in the show notes, I've got like vines coming through them as well. So that's kind of trying to blend them in some more. I think at some point I'm going to put like bits of the turf on the model, like on the basis of the model, just to kind of make it look like there's like stuff growing up them to make them sort of blend in a bit better. And then what was the last bit? I tried to make some trees. Which turned out to be probably the most annoying and complicated thing about it. You get, again, Woodland Scenics, they've got a monopoly on fucking miniatures terrain stuff. They sell tree armatures, which are basically bendy bits of plastic that look like trees, but are flat. And they bend them into like tree-like shapes. And then you get something called hobby tack, which is this really, really weird glue that never really dries. You apply it, and it's not sticky, and then you have to wait for it to sort of dry and become tacky, hence the name Hob-E-Tack. And then you blob it in basically the same stuff as you do for the grass, except it's much coarser, so it's bigger clumps. And then that makes a tree. And then you put it on the diorama, and then you think, fuck, it's too small, because I bought the wrong size trees. So in all the photos, you can see the Space Marines are next to these sort of little ditty tiny trees.
That's because your fucking Space Marines are too big, because they're fucking,
they're
Primaris.
So what I did is I then ordered some more big trees, which I'm putting models next to it. And they're far better. The models basically come up to like the lowest branch, which is nice. And I'm going to do those, and then they're going to be my trees. And then that's 2 boards finished out of the 6. And
I love how your scenery is like grass, right? And trees and vines.
Yeah.
And my basing for my whole army is just like burnt ash.
Yeah, I like
my Dark Angels are like in the aftermath of whatever your Ultramarines are doing. When they're long burned, like all the skulls on my bases are just
all
like
my basing
leftovers.
ends up basically being mud and then static grass tufts. Which is another sad thing I have got into. I bought a static grass applicator, which is so static grass tufts. Static grass is basically like little bits of plastic filament.
Yeah, I use that, but they're like burnt.
And you buy them and you go like, oh man, these £5 a pop for like a pack of them. That's a rip off.
Well, I don't buy the tufts. I just use the other stuff. But yeah.
But do you use a static grass applicator? Can you guarantee that your static grass stands on end? No, you cannot. So what it is, it's basically a tea strainer. It's like a sieve that is attached to a 9-volt battery on one end, and then the other end has a cable that goes to the thing you're trying to put static grass on. So you basically put a nail in your terrain, or like just stick it in the glue, and then that like makes a potential difference between the two. So as you shake the grass on top, it like aligns the grass. So it all stands on end. It makes nice standy grass. So I bought one of those, and I'm going to give that a go. Making tufts and maybe doing some spot grass, because I've got like 6 shades.
Okay, yeah, my grass is maybe like not standing on end, but it's burnt grass anyway. So
yeah, so I'm kind of going for this like lush thing, just because like I'm super high contrast. I may as well make that.
It's because you are just like feel good.
I'm a happy man. I've got the Ultramarines. They're wholesome. It's pretty. So yeah, I've got what, a third of the board ready.
You are aware that they're driving a tank through a wonderful forest.
Oh yeah, that's totally. So the roads I marked out on the board to be the width that a tank might drive down. So the implication that there weren't really roads until the tanks arrived, and then the tanks drove and then like churned up the mud. So that's why there's not grass there. So It's good. I've really enjoyed it. It's been massive amounts of fun making terrain, because it's complicated in terms of process, but there's no super fiddly things. Apart from when I try to follow a tutorial for sealing the trees, because obviously the trees must be sealed. Okay,
Sealing the trees. Seal the trees.
The bush bollocks that you apply to trees.
Sorry. Excuse me.
It's foam. The weird foam you apply to trees with hobby tack suffers the same problem as the grass does before you seal it, in that it's sort of not very robust. So you kind of want to like somehow put glue everywhere to make them stick.
Isn't that what art code is for?
But you can't really. You don't want shiny trees, and you don't want to like manually brush it onto them because there's like a lot of foliage. So like, a very shit tutorial told me to do exactly what I did for the grass, but do it on the trees, which is a terrible idea because it turns out that like watered down PVA is basically Agent Orange when it comes to model trees. It turns out I think hobby tack is soluble in water, so I applied all the water and I applied the glue, and then all the leaves fell off. So I then just like ended up with just bare trees again.
You should have made a video series of this.
Which means I now have to find something else, which I think everyone else says not a lot you can do. Just spray loads of matte varnish on top of it. So I'm gonna do that with some more trees.
Yeah, what's that? No, that's not art code. That's Lamy
like,
medium, right?
Or like a spray version of it, just to make life a bit.
Yeah, well,
easier.
Isn't there a spray version?
There probably is, but I'm probably gonna buy like cheaper off-brand Games Workshop stuff because it's gonna be a lot of it in use. So then I made some trees. I'm going to make some better trees, and then I'm going to make the other 4 boards, and it's going to be wonderful. And I'm going to have loads of space, and I'm going to have no one to play 40k with. I'll have to.
Well, you just come to Denmark, and we'll play Cool Team.
Whack like 6 sheets of MDF in the boot. And
well, you've sealed them, right?
I've sealed them. It'll be fine, man.
So that's your way to get over the channel.
Yeah,
you know?
it's good. It's good. I'll
just build a raft.
It's been mad fun building this. You can get a lot it takes a while to get to like sort of feeling like you've made something, because at some point you end up just like, here is some wood and I've put some plaster on it. It looks terrible. But once you get some paint on it, and then like once the grass is on, you're like, oh man, I've made a thing.
I gotta say, cool. It looks really good. I've saw stuff on your Instagram as well, and I gotta say it looks really good. But it makes me wanna build more word bearers, because
so you can come fuck that shit up.
Yeah, it just makes me wanna burn this planet, burn it all to the ground.
That's fine. I assume all of the armies there are going to be.
I see trees. Burn the trees. Burn the word of Lorca into the ground.
Basically, all of the modeling and 40k building stuff, other than some books that I've done. That's all my things. Shitloads of terrain.
My progress, I'm going to make it really short. I did a live stream.
You did?
I painted a guy.
2.5 hours of looking at Fab, shifting around his paint pots and talking about random things.
I need to fix my camera. I need to make the better, but I really want to keep going with that. That's really fun.
Yeah, there's a guy who does YouTube videos of painting, and he does an excellent kind of how-to on what he uses to record his miniature painting, because he basically uses like a DSLR camera.
Yeah, I have one.
That he can like plug, that he
Dave,
can get 4K video out of.
Yeah, I was just too slack to set up my
it's
Nikon.
A buttloads of faff to do, but like
I think I need a capture card.
Yeah, he uses like an entire separate PC to do all the stuff.
Once we have the Patreon.
That's
going to be a goal.
He does some stuff with like, he picks a lens that has like a decent focal length, so he can like move the model around, but then that involves like cropping it, so he records it in like 4K and then crops like an interesting 1080p segment.
Okay. That's a project for the Patreon, definitely.
But it works really well, and he spent a shitload of money doing it, but it is possible to do it. And
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you said he made a shitload of money, not spent.
No, it cost a shitload of money.
Well, I got the DSLR. I got good lenses. I can. We'll see. Anyway,
so it's all on YouTube, so you can watch it as like a video on demand.
Mike, tell us about the Brothers Slam Guineas.
The Brother Slam Guinness, yes. My deep dark secret is that I have realized that it's fun to build stuff you think is gonna be good, but sometimes you just have to go and look at the meta. And as I realized, the overriding meta in 40k is the Blood Angels Captain with a jump pack and a Thunderhammer and a Storm
Nice.
Shield.
Oh, damn.
And the jump pack is no mere jump pack. It is the Angel's Wing, which is Sanguinius
So
jump
you're
pack.
telling me I need that
Yep.
in my kill team.
It's funny because there was a couple of guys doing like an army report, and they were like, "It's so nice of the Blood Angels. They send their captains around to all Imperium armies. There's so many of them, and they're so willing to fly around." So basically, what happens if you do a Blood Angel captain with a Thunderhammer and a Storm Shield and the Angel's Wing? You basically have a cruise missile that cannot be overwatched against. Who will be able to re-roll their charge rolls, and then a Thunderhammer is the most powerful close combat weapon in the Imperial arsenal. This guy is like, he has because of the Storm Shield, he has a +3 invulnerable save, re-roll charge rolls, and can't be overwatched. So basically, you just send him against whatever you want to die, and he will beat it into bloody pulp or a big scrap heap, depending on what it is you're sending it against. And yes, at a certain point he will be shot to pieces, but then you can just have another captain that has the same spec. Maybe not with the Angel's Wing because it's a relic, but you get the point. So I did the Brothers Sanguinius or Slam Guinness because obviously I couldn't just have one. I needed to have two, right? So yeah, so that seems to be the meta, and I'm now putting them in with a big sigh of really disappointment about letting go of my chaplain, because I love my chaplain and I spent a long time painting him.
He's nice looking, I gotta say.
That's the thing. So I will not always do this, but I would like to try the Slam Guinness, meta, because I can actually see it. It is very powerful. It's extremely powerful. And I mean, with the Blood Angels, when they charge, they have the Red Thirst and can, re-roll wound rolls of 1 and all. It just makes a lot of sense. It does. So I'm being a little bit of a power gamer in that sense. But I would like to also just include my chaplain as well, because chaplains are just, I love them. They're just cool.
They're really good.
They fly into battle chanting the everlasting litanies of hate against everybody in the universe, and yeah, it's just, they should be there.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, exactly. I can see you.
Stop messing with my lore.
with a skull helmet, and your Crucius Arcanum, lit up.
Yeah, I love that thing. It's so good looking.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my only regret, that it would have pleased me no end that it would have been the chaplain doing this. But okay, let's try and win some games.
That'll be the next meta thing. The meta's gonna shift.
I will just paint stuff as well that I just like, and case in point is my Storm Raven that I've finally been able to build.
That's good looking too.
Started painting it, and Storm Raven is so beautiful. If I could sleep with it instead of a teddy, not that I sleep with teddies, but the Storm Raven, it's gorgeous.
I gotta say,
it's
nice. So you post a picture of that. You showed me a picture.
It's on the Discord, yeah.
And it's like, you put it on Discord. And it's got like it's like black, right?
It's gonna be the Death Company colors, so I'm gonna have a few red crosses on it.
But it's mostly black, and then there's like this red Blood Angel in there, and it looks great.
It's actually a Tech Marine.
Oh yeah, right.
You're conversely, right, yes. They are also red. So yeah.
Yeah, I was.
And that's the challenge with the Storm Raven, that, as I spoke to Dave about the last time that we did a podcast, I was sitting there completely discomforted by the fact that I had just managed to put it all together and then realized that I couldn't put in one of the weapons turrets with the servitor, which is on the top, because I put the exhaust vent or whatever in and glued it on, and then obviously the gun turret had to have gone in before that.
Oh
but
yeah,
I'd
that was
saved
the
it so I could sort of
exhaust
paint it.
vent incident.
So it was really like, oh my god! But somehow I managed to squeeze without breaking anything and sort of get it into in and fit. And obviously, if I get another Storm Raven, I'll know what not to do. But it's all together now, and I had to paint like fine detail on the the gunnery display and like little buttons and stuff like that before I sealed the canopy on top of both the Tech Marine and the servitor up in the gun turret. So that's what I've spent a few evenings sort of just preparing the inside of the little cockpit so I could finally seal them up. And then after that, I'm gonna make it Death Company. And I hope.
I gotta say, I'm amazed. I looked at your cockpit canopy, and there isn't a spot of paint on it.
There is, actually, you just can't see it.
Well, just don't say that. It looks great.
I really, really tried when I spray painted, and I had them sort of closed up with tape and things like that, and then one little piece of the tape had lifted up.
Don't feel bad. I don't think anybody manages that. That was I was gonna say, you're the first person I've ever saw outside of the Heavy Metal team who can do this.
No, I can't. I can't take any acclaim for that. But
you're human
in
as
my
well.
mind, I was like,
after all,
it's fine. I'll maybe take some paint varnish remover or something like that on a little piece of cotton or something and try and get it off at some point. But anyway, I just need to move on because that's like I have so much hobby stuff to do. It's incredible. So anyway, the Storm Raven, I have a slight hope that I can maybe put magnets on so I can actually clip on the Death Company Dreadnought on it, which is that it's underneath, hanging underneath and flying into battle with the Death Company Dreadnought. That's kind of my hope, but I don't know if I'll be good enough to make it happen.
By the way, breaking news, I shit you not, live on the show, I've just read on Facebook that there's a new German power metal band that was just created. It's called Dawn of Amber. I just wanted to say that in case they're really big in 10 years. Then we could say.
And then, I mean, they're so rare as well. Like, they don't come along that often. That's amazing. Like, German power metal.
Yes.
Wow.
Never heard of that. Anyway, keep on going. I didn't want to...
No, but I'm just completely,
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Blown here,
Also, Dawn of Amber. So.
Yeah, wow.
Sounds like
is that like Rogel Dawn? Made of amber? Anyway, so Blood Angels moving along. As you know from the Kill Team section, the path of corruption has started, and I might delve into Death Guard.
I must say I'm very happy that you're sending me a captain. You're sending the
Slamginians.
Yeah,
you want a Slamginius? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
I will divert my costly and very rare resources to some edge of the universe. But yeah, I guess I can probably find a Blood Angel captain. Yeah, like everybody else has a couple of them, So,
it's I'm just saying. I'm just saying we're very happy, in the Death Watch that all of you are sending us your best. I'll recruit some guy from Dave's Blue chapter.
You need a detachment, right? So that's one headquarters. At least one troop then, or something like that, for a patrol detachment. So you need to paint some Blood Angels, even scouts or something. Can you do that? Oh.
No, I'm saying for Kill Team.
Oh, for Kill Team. Well, I don't know if Slamginius will show up in Kill Team. He's too powerful, I think. To be honest, yeah, maybe.
Damn it.
Anyway, something else happened, which was maybe a little bit of an oops. because as you know, I said earlier, I got the Imperial Knights Codex because somehow I managed to have a Renegade box set sitting under the bed, and I forgot about it. And
I know these stories.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, it's
I
time.
have no idea why
It's
Games
like
Workshop
nice.
sent me this box, KT.
No, oh my
No, I
goodness.
certainly
what is
didn't
it
order
doing
this.
there? Yes.
Must have been a
So
podcast listener.
yeah, and then I happened to push a button that bought some Helverins, which is the armature, the little support knights.
Oh yeah,
I can have a
the teeny
super heavy
knights.
detachment. Yeah, and they're these really nice guys with huge machine guns that support the main knight with the even larger Gatling cannon and repeating autocannons or whatever they have. Yeah, so that's what I say, that I have a lot of hobby stuff lined up. And,
They're like a dog. They're like a night dog. They're little
what are they
pet
called?
knight.
Like the hounds of war.
Yeah.
Something, yeah, what are they called? Like the ones that flush out the prey. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm thinking. I'm actually thinking I'll have my Blood Angels, and I'll do a very mobile force of Blood Angels that have scouts. The scout land speeder, which is called the land speeder Storm, I think. So I'm gonna put some guys on there with the sniper rifles, so they can fly around and sort of shoot characters, and then basically do like all the flying guys, like the Death Company and the Sanguinary Guards, the golden guys that have big close combat weapons, and then they have like bolters mounted on their arms. They're quite good, actually. I've been told. So there'll be some of those guys, and I'm thinking some bikes, things that are just very mobile. So that'll be one army that I'm sort of thinking about. And then there's, in my head now, I'm doing like a knight thing with a knight and the armatures, and I have actually an Ultramarine Land Raider, the assault version that has the sort of dual assault cannon, frag bombs, and all that, and sort of do like a Blood Angel sort of heavy armor version or something like that, where it's just all like big machines, the knights, the Land Raider, maybe a Predator or something like that. Basically just doing the bare bones of a detachment and not have that many points, but basically just doing like vehicles and lots of heavy weapons,
heavy hitting, kind of.
Yeah, just very expensive big units of very heavy weapons, and just see how that works out, just for fun, because I think it's probably not a competitive thing, but just imagining this sort of wall of red steel just firing huge weapons. I think that would be kind of fun to do. Yeah. So I've like my hobby has just gone. I'm going in all sorts of directions, and I probably don't have time to do it. But it's just
that's just the fun thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because with my 40th birthday, I did get quite a few generous sort of gifts, and then all these things have arrived, and I'm just like I'm like a kid in a candy shop, just trying to figure out which I should do first. And also, like, one of my friends plays Heretic Astartes, and there's the Obliterators, right, which is the Heretic Astartes versions of Terminators with heavy weapons.
Yeah,
and they are the most frustrating unit to play against, because they will get all sorts of different versions of heavy weapons, and they're of course Terminators, right?
yeah.
They always mess up my plans, shoot down my stuff, and I can't kill them, right? So I've done like, I will have, specifically just to kill these Obliterators, I will have an assault squad of Terminators with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, just one group of that, just to teleport in and just charge these guys wherever they are. Doesn't matter whatever else they do, but they just teleport in, charge them, and kill them. So that's another plan I have. So you can hear I'm completely gone, like all sorts of stuff going on. But the original 1,000 point plan that I posted in Discord many moons ago has nothing to do with what I'm doing at this point. So I don't know. In the deep lore, we probably need to do like reset the 4 Feldherren or something like that, because
Yeah, I think
it
we
has
do
no
need,
bearing on what we talked about,
Yeah.
like 8 months ago. Or
I think we need a reset.
Yeah,
We need a kill team reset.
kill team reset, which is more sort of like, that's actually, you can see progress, and you have, this is the kill team, and then we meet and we play.
Because to be honest, we're not doing well.
I know, but I mean, certain listeners will go like, "Oh, this is the much Warhammer content we've had in a long
They
time."
can't complain.
Exactly, yeah. But they kind of need to see. They need to see the grudge match, right? They need to see proof that we actually are going to use it. And I think Kill Team will be our salvation in that.
Yeah.
In that respect.
We need to rebrand it like for Kill Terran. I don't know.
Kill Squad.
Kill Squad.
You know why I'm really I'm really pumped now. I really want to show it to all of you guys. Because the literal kill team is the best kill team, so I need to get cracking on that.
You need to kick your asses with that.
Yeah,
Fab. If you need any like shoulder pads or things like that, I do have a few things sitting around. So
okay,
just shoot me a message.
So I think my plan is I will read the book over the holiday, and then I'll in Sicily. I will come up with a plan, and I will make Katie an offer she can't refuse to do with Warhammer.
Speaking of books of reading,
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, read a book, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I did say that. Yes.
I have read a shitload of Gaunt's Ghost books. I think I probably mentioned it like 18 months ago. I started
during the dark times.
It was one of those things that everyone said that they're really good, and they because they're written by Dan Abnett and they're about the Imperial Guard, and Gaunt is just this great character, and I was like, fuck it, I'll never read it. Turns out I love them. On the holiday in Sweden, I read lots of them. I'd previously read First and Only in Ghostmaker, I think, or I hadn't. Yeah, I'd read those, and that covers like 4 big battles. Then I read Necropolis.
So good.
Which is Hive War stuff, and then you get the kind of new blood in the first and only. They turn up, and they're super cool, and you get some of the most rad characters. And then I read Honor Guard as well on holiday. And that's really cool. Lots of sort of like foreshadowing for things that are going to happen later with regards to the Saint. And that's pretty cool. And then while I was on holiday, I ran out of books because I'd only put like 3 on my Kindle. So I then was quickly like buying The Guns of Tanith and then putting that on my Kindle while we were in the hotel, which I thought so this is like a kind of cool kill team thing. Like there's an assassination thing going on, and there's like 2 teams of like Imperial Guard lads like grav shooting into this. It's just really rad. It's really cool.
The Saint is so good. That arch of it is
Yeah, and I mean, so like Dan Abnett, like I knew he killed characters a lot and people were annoyed, but like this man, he killed my favorite character, and I was so fucking angry. And the person who killed the character still hasn't got their comeuppance, so I'm pretty fucking pissed. And then I read Straight Silver when I was back, which is like, I wasn't as hot on this one, because it sort of had a trope of inept kind of management. So this is like the guard turn up on a planet that's been like waging war against heretics for 40 years, and
it's like World War One, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big old World War One metaphor.
Yeah,
And it's just lots of people getting in Gaunt's way, and I'm like, just fucking shoot him, Gaunt. You're a commissar. Shoot them all. And he doesn't. But they win eventually because of reasons. And there's some more foreshadowing of things that happen in the next book. And then I started Sabbat Martyr, which is where I am right now. I have not finished this, but at this point, the saint is reincarnated, or is she? Oh,
yeah. Oh, it's so good.
And
that stuff is just excellent. It really is.
And then at this point, Jack, friend of the show, who I mentioned previously, pointed out that, or just reminded me that Gaunt's Ghost is not like a page-for-page ripoff, but it's very similar to the books by a guy called Bernard Cornwell. The Sharp books. I don't know if they ever got really popular outside
is that
the
like
UK.
the Sean Bean TV series?
Yeah, so the
Sharp's
books
Rifles.
the TV series is made from, which is rank Sharp, because he's like a lieutenant, a lieutenant. He's a colonel. He's a
you just lieutenant, yes.
Well, because in the books it's lieutenant because
Lovely.
he's English, right? So I had my Audible credit for the month, so I picked up the first published Sharp book, which is Sharp's Eagle, which is sort of like there is a battle, some lads lose a flag, and they feel bad. So Sharp's like, I shall get a French Eagle, which are like the sort of standards that French flags carried on, and it's sort of good. And it's so Gaunt. It is like they're both tall officers, and they're badass, and they're great. And the best thing about the audiobook version is that when Sharp's lines are set like red, the guy does some voice acting, so he puts on a banging impression of Sean Bean, which is really, really good. So I'm reading that, and it's very similar to Gaunt, but it's kind of cool to see how they're kind of quite different in terms of they're both genre fiction, where basically pieces can't move too far.
Genre fiction's the best fiction.
It's really good, but it's interesting to see how the subtle differences in how the worlds make the stories different. So in 40k, ultimately, Gaunt answers to very few people because he's an Imperial Commissar. He's also a colonel, and he's basically he can execute basically anyone on site, and he generally has to play by the rules of people in the Imperial Guard, but planetary defense forces he can just sort of ignore. Whereas Sharp exists very much within the military command system, and he's the poor dude. So he didn't he started as a private and got his ranks basically by doing well and getting promotions and someone paying for his commission. So I had no idea about what commission was before this. I knew there were commissioned and non-commissioned officers, but I didn't realize that officers had to pay. Basically, you rose through the ranks by being rich rather than being good. So he gets his commission paid for by other people and various things. So everyone knows he's the poor guy. So the other officers don't respect him because he's poor, but the men really respect him because he's fucking lucky and good at stuff. But he gets results. It's quite interesting to see how that works differently.
That did change, right? Later, that's the one of the big things Napoleon introduced.
Yes.
When you you basically later on you
arguments for commissioning, and it basically because you paid the money and it would sort of act as your pension once you left the army. So it tied you to the army so you wouldn't desert. Because if you deserted, you wouldn't get any money. You'd lose shitloads of money. It ensured that the people who were in command were part of the system. So the army defended people in power because people in power were in charge of the army. The landed gentry were protected because the landed gentry were in charge of the army, kind of thing. So it kind of vaguely worked, but obviously that's not how it works now. But then there's characters in it who there are bits in the Navy and then in the engineers, there's no commission. So they just get promoted via being good at blowing stuff up, which is cool. But yeah, I've sort of
and in the Navy you get promoted by not dying basically a lot because not going insane
from someone old who died. But yeah, so I'm kind of going on a bit of a tangent because Gaunt's so good that I want to read the thing it's based off.
Have you ever read the Hornblower stuff?
I have not, no.
So that's basically the same thing as Sharp. So there's a line of books. Oh God, who wrote this? About a Navy guy called Horatio Hornblower. God, written by it's like Napoleonic Wars.
Forrester.
Yes, and this is basically what all like the spaceship books are based on.
Okay, I might give that a go because like I'm not a fan of space combat in books. I always feel like I don't really know what's going on, so I'll give it a go, see if this is any different.
It had a huge influence. So basically, Roddenberry said Star Trek was influenced by that and stuff.
Cool.
But I mean, even this goes like Arthur Conan Doyle made the White Company. If you read, I mean, there's and this goes even probably further back than Sharp.
Oh yeah, Sharp's like a very much 1980s, 70s, 80s kind of.
Yeah, because this is like late 1800s, I think.
I didn't know he did that.
I've read them. They're really good. Like the White Company. There's few books about them, but it's the same thing. It's this thing we love where it's a motley crew of different types of people. In wartime, they band together and kind of use their skills to do well, and they get challenged and things like that, and they win fame and glory and pieces of equipment that are cool, and it's that kind of story, right? And like if you do it well, you will get a following, and that's what Dan Abnett did. Like it's not like a new trope or anything, but the way he does it is just he creates characters that you care about. The combat scenes are believable. He changes tack, introduces different scenarios. He gets new people coming in, changing dynamic. Of
and
the
to
new
be
group,
honest,
and
there's nothing new like in literature. It's all based on something else. It's all the way down to like it goes down to Homer. You can trace anything down to the Odyssey, basically.
Yep.
At the end of Ghostmaker, so the second book, so it's the second book in the first omnibus, I was kind of like, oh man, I don't really know how he strings it out for like another 12 books. If it's just like, oh, and then there was some Imperial Guard, and then they went and did a thing, and then like, fucking, they won. Big whoop. But like every book is different. Like every book has some contrivance that makes it different than the previous thing. They're like, actually, we're not going to go attack something. We're going to go like rescue a relic. And like, well, that's immediately different. It's like it's good, and like, it's just, it makes me sad that you can't buy the Tanith models. They made some metal Tanith models a good long while ago. That when I first bought the omnibus, they still sold on the Games Workshop website, but have since removed, which is a pain because I'm like, oh, they're really cool, and they've all got these. Are they fake Scottish? Because like there's like names like McCall and McVenna, and I read them as like they're fake Scottish, and they're sort of playing into the Scottish SAS trope in my mind.
You're not far off it, I think.
Yeah, because they're like.
Is there a Scottish SAS trope?
So, like,
to me, the SAS soldiers are always very, 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 very English.
No, so there's definitely a trope. So, like, there's a recurring character in some of the Call of Duty games, Price and McTavish, who is like he's like an SAS dude, and he's just like in loads of them, and he's like got some funny quips in Call of Duty. So in my mind, like all the badass like SAS dudes are Scottish. Although if you watch Ultimate Force was an ITV show about the SAS, like a drama that was shit but surprisingly good. They were all quite posh, like English people.
Okay, so to me that always was like the Scottish trope was always the McAlpines Fusiliers. Maybe I've been listening to the Dubliners too much.
But also, like, if you take Wonder Woman and the sniper guy in that, it's not a million miles from that, actually. Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, those are my hot takes on 15-year-olds books.
It's just like if you want to do Warhammer and be serious about getting into the feel of it, you at some point you have to read these books. It's just
they're on the list. They're on the list. I will read them at some point.
I feel like I would probably revise my recommendation because, like, I kind of go back on the idea of recommending the Horus Heresy to anyone who's starting off, just because none of it means anything to anyone, and all of the cool turns in the Horus Heresy are like depend on you knowing things in 40k. So I kind of go for like the Eisenhorn stuff maybe first, but I would also potentially, if someone's already into things like Sharp, I would maybe go like just like read First and Only and get a sense of like how something you're already kind of interested in the real world, in inverted commas, is like in the 40k world. So say like read First and Only and then read Eisenhorn. Oh, they're both by Dan Abnett. What a surprise!
Yeah. No, but he's built a foundation for sure. And
there's going to be another one soon, right? Because we had the War Master. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Something I read. There's more. There's more coming. It's not finished yet.
No, but he's getting close to the end with the Tanith for sure.
Which is like going to be kind of cool when that's all complete.
But also like if you read, he does the domestic 40k very well, as we talked about with the Inquisitor trilogies and Gaunt's Ghosts. And then I think he has still written the definitive book on Titan warfare in Titanicus, which I would still go back to for the feeling of like Titan warfare. It's just I haven't read anything that sort of matches it yet. It's that book, and it's only one book, and I remember getting I got a book signed one time with him in one of the Black Library events, and you know I wouldn't say I pleaded with him to do something with Titanicus, but I did put it in, just going like, you know, just do more of that. Just do more of that. But, yeah, it's just he didn't listen to me. He hasn't written it after that with Titanicus, but like read it, like it's so good. If you like Titans at all, it's the best.
Put it on the list.
It's the best book for that. Yeah. Shall I move on to Wolfsbane? Just we talked about it the last time, and I hadn't finished it at that time. So yeah, it's of course Lehman Ross going after Horus on his own against nearly everybody's advice, but you know, obviously they need to kind of make that happen in the law because you know, the Space Wolves aren't at Terra when the siege happens. And in this book, then Lehman Ross does perform a deed to kind of help the Imperials, which involves a spear given to him by his father, by the Emperor, which is kind of it's still a little bit uncertain what it exactly is, but it seems to be a spear that's sort of infused with a bit of the Emperor's essence or something like that. And obviously, you know, like most of the Primarchs and most of the books have to go through both a physical and sort of psychological challenge, mental or, you know, psychic, you would call it as well, like the two realms of where the Primarchs move in, because the Primarchs are, you know, they're basically created off the Emperor, so they're excellent warriors, but they're also in a smaller or higher degree, you know, psychically attuned. And even somebody like Lehman Ross, who is, you know, not a sorcerer by any means, but he is definitely tuned into, you know, the ether or
the runes that are totally not magic.
Exactly.
Totally not the war.
And it's the same, you know, like Sanguinius, you know, is the ultimate warrior, but he's also
the ultimate warrior. Oh God, I can't get that out of my brain now. the neon,
references,
the neon things hanging off his arms. Yeah, God, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, so the book describes how he chooses to go on his own to try and be the executioner and stop the rebellion there and then, and obviously he can't because we know what happens.
Spoilers.
But but obviously he does he does make use of this spear, and there's quite a poignant scene between him and Horus on the vengeful spirit. So I won't spoil it completely because obviously
spirit. That's such a good name.
Yes, yeah, the flagship of the arch traitor. And the important part there is that it seems to me like he has been given a sort of a token element of something that will turn up later in how it was possible for the Emperor to win against Horus. I assume that's why his spear is in the story, and that he gets to use it against Horus, and whatever happens in the story there, that will have ramifications later down the line. So what I enjoyed with this book was the descriptions of when Leman Russ and Horus first met each other, because obviously Horus was one of the first ones, I think, or the first one that the Emperor had by his side.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leman Russ has obviously grown up on
Fenris.
I've got the name now, Fenris. Yeah, that was really embarrassing. So on Fenris he was.
It's all the schnapps. It's all the ahus.
But I've just had like a couple of armbitters, and I would say that it's 50% strength. So coupled with beers, I'm trying to
hold it together. Yeah.
So Fenris is, of course, a very savage place. He's like a barbarian warlord, and in the eyes of others, quite savage and uncouth. But the interesting part is that obviously a wolf as well, in the sense that he had the lunar wolves was the designation before it became the Sons of Horus. So there's a lot of play on that in the book that I think has been used quite well. That in a way, like, he's the sophisticated wolf against the savage wolf and things like that. So there's a lot of sort of play on that. And an interesting thing that was put in there about Fenris, and I wanted to sort of research this a bit more. At some point, there is a mention that Fenris was created to be as it is, to be a savage place. Yeah. So I think they are beginning to open up for this whole thing. If you remember, we spoke previously about how the world spirit is something that the librarians are using, or the rune priests, for the space wolves, that they're sort of using the spirit of the world to fuel their manifestations, their spells, for want of a better word. And I just saw a little sort of snippet there that made me think that they're beginning to open up for the fact that some things might not be what we think they have been for many decades, right? That Fenris has been created for a specific purpose, to be a savage place for space tours.
Wait, what if all the planets the Primarchs landed on were designed to be that way?
There you go. It's possible. I mean, from what I've read in this book, which was very, very, it was very small details where I was just like, hang on, what does this actually mean, right? Because you have Vulcan's homeworld, which is
they're all very special. That can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't say anything about the others, but I'm kind of going like, right, okay, are we beginning to move down a path where it's not as random as the old sort of descriptions?
Yeah, you mean like Caliban, like that planet that's really deadly with all the like monsters everywhere, and they're all very special. Yeah. Like all the monsters are different.
And there you go, the world spirit, was it the Ouroboros or whatever it's called? The big worms inside the core of the So I'd watch this space. I think I
They
think
just
there's
made
something about there. Yeah.
made Ultramar the fucking paradise. You know?
I made it the home of the good boys.
So
Yeah.
he's gonna be the most boring guy who isn't actually, you know.
It's just that's like a rock, right? You know, a mountain. They're you know, the stable sort of unchanging bureaucrats that will just make sure everybody
What's it Theresa May says? Strong and stable.
Strong and stable.
Hashtag.
Oh God! Now I can't unsee that
I
Ultramarine.
don't know. I think
Theresa
Ultramar
Theresa Gilliman.
Ultramar is the EU, right?
No.
Blue.
Yeah.
I can tell you,
Well,
mate. I can tell you're not living in the EU. We just decided. We're currently deciding to change the time zone
That's gonna be great.
to the fucking summertime all the time
It's
instead
no,
of
no,
normal
that is
time.
incorrect. They have agreed that they will keep it the same. They have not agreed what they will keep it the
Yes,
same as.
but they want they asked the people, you know, and obviously the people being stupid chose the stupid solution, not the scientific one.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
I'm telling you, I'm inside the EU right now. It's not fucking Ultramar.
It's gonna be fine, Fab.
So yeah, so strangely enough, this book, you know, interesting as the story was about Lehman Russ attacking Horus on his flagship, it was actually more the little snippets of tantalizing sort of clues to where they're going with the lore for the Primarchs, and you know the way the warp works, and what does it mean with their special characters and things like that. You know, I thought that was really interesting, and actually, you know, the story is nice as well, but it was those little thingies there that I found most interesting about Wolfsbane.
Sounds good. It's definitely on the list. I will get to that when I return to the heresy.
Is the lion in the book at all?
No.
Lionel Johns.
Doubt it. If
Because
I think they mentioned something about what everybody's doing, you know,
because it sure sounds like the book's named for the lion.
Ooh, that's fighting words there, Mr.
As
Fab.
Dave would call it, a hot take.
A hot take, yeah. I don't think he has a big place.
Because
in this
presumably,
story,
at
as
like
far as I
roughly
remember.
this point, they're all farting around doing that thing, trying to get to through that weird warp thingy.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Malgador is there and he's kind of going like, Lehman, you know, what the fuck? Why do you want to go back to your to Fenris and then go after Horus? Why? You know, I have to do it. I am the executioner, you know, and you know that kind of stuff. And you know, in a way, you're like, you sometimes see that they're trying to railroad what was previously just a bit murky and didn't need described, you know, and now they need to find the story, right? So sometimes you're a bit like, okay, this just has to be this way, because otherwise it won't make sense in the big storyline. So yeah, I mean, the Emperor doing this and that and putting little surprises here and there, that's fine. They can do that. I think that's fine. Obviously, Lehman Russ fighting with a spear and stuff. It's a little bit like, you know, we've never heard of it, and all of a sudden there's the spear with the Emperor's essence and things like that. But you know, you kind of have to accept these things because they are the bubble of lore sort of expanding, and it just, you know, it didn't grate me too much. I like the Space Wolves. I like Lehman Russ. I'm willing to sort of take that. I would say though, some things that annoy me.
Before you go into that, just positive on my part. All I'm gonna say about this is, I'm Arilas, War Chief of Gothic blood, and I chant to cleanse my tribe of fear. For in honor of Wotan, the warrior god, I hurl the chieftain's spear. He's obviously
Lehman Russ,
been listening to Hulkov. Anyway, stuff that annoys you.
Anytime you bring Hulkov in, he's welcome. But the thing I don't like, and I've seen this in other books as well from Black Library, sometimes I just see something where it is an idea or a thing that they've just copied. And in this case, Leman Russ goes into Surtur's realm, into the god of the underworld's realm, because he has to go on this metaphysical sort of spirit journey.
Right.
And then he does 3 trials, and the 3 trials are the flippin' 3 trials that Thor does in mythology, right? Where he has to drink the ocean and he has to fight death and that kind of stuff.
At least they didn't go with the Hercules trials. They're like 10 or something, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm just like, anybody from Scandinavia or other people who are vaguely interested in Viking lore will just go like, "Oh, you just took that from the, from the Old Norse," and that was a bit of a detractor for me, because I was like, yes, it fits the Space Wolves and blah 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 and all that, but it was just so clearly taken from it, and that part I just don't like. And it's the same thing when I read Graham McNeil and he takes Hans Christian Andersen references from some of the fairy tales. I'm just like, that detracts from me. I can't unsee it. And I've actually seriously thought about making a website or blog or whatever, specifically to collect things from our world, references to our world that pop up in 40K, which is things in 40K from the second K should be extremely rare. Like it should happen once in a blue moon, like really, but you have so many books where there's always like a little reference to the Bible, or a little reference to the Egyptians, or a little reference to
the references end up being in about 2,000 years of each other.
I have good news for you, Mike. Yes. We do have that website. There is the Deep Lore Wiki.
Oh my God, Fab. How could I have missed that?
Sounds like a mission for Gammeldansk.
My minions listening, I mean, fellow fans of the 40K Enterprise, let us create the deep lore debunking of 2K in 40K references.
That sounds like a great idea, actually. Next time I read a 40K book, I'm part of that, because that happens all the time.
It does,
and it annoys me too.
I want to create a site or a page, or whatever, where it goes like Black Library. Get your fucking act together on these references, because you can't have the Philosopher's Stone, the Stonehenge, Hans Christian, fucking Harry Potter or something like that, popping up in your books.
See, I think the problem is, this annoys me enough if it's in Star Trek or something like this, right? But in 40K, as you said, it's so far in the future. It's just like the whole setting is built kind of to be like against that. It's like it's almost antithesis of that, and it's like, but I think they think it's cool. I think they're nerdy editors, and they're like,
oh, I'll just put in a little reference.
Yeah, this is like literature. Yeah. It's
And they all do it, right? And then all of a sudden you have this thing where it's not very rare. Okay, here's the rudder of a British naval frigate from 1800s or something like that. I can't remember. There's a flag or something like that, hanging in one of the ships and stuff like that. And you're just like, how? I mean, please, just no, don't do it. But
anyway, I mean, the thing with stuff like that they don't get is like 40,000 years is so long. Like if you think about how much stuff we have left from 2,000 years ago, like
it all came from that time traveling division of the Inquisition.
So one of the things I've actually, now that you're talking about this, I've been noticing this too, and I think it's been bugging me as well. I never put it into words like this, but it's like for me it's like having. So, okay, I've pretty much failed at university, right? I never got my master's or whatever, but I was hanging around a lot of time, in history seminars and shit. And one thing that, reading a lot of stuff and, being in courses in modern history and stuff just instilled to me is, how big history is, the scale of things, and how people can't one of the biggest enigmas in studying history is that people can't possibly relate. Like, if you're now talking like, I don't know, Nazi Germany, right? It's hard enough as it is. Hitler
Sorry,
reference.
I wasn't laughing at Nazi Germany. It was show notes being blown up there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're doing a long show. Dave's right. Okay, so the thing I'm just saying is history is big, and it's people can't even understand the 1930s.
Yeah.
These days. Like, you have no idea. Like, try to understand how people lived 4,000 years ago. And we're talking 40,000 years.
Yeah.
We need to get that wiki going, and now we need to go the feedback and do the feedback and run, because Dave needs to go to bed, because Dave needs to build a fence tomorrow.
Exactly.
And buy a cat.
Yeah.
Get a tabby, please. Get a tabby. Or one of those, like the fat cats, like the British short hair, the grey ones. Get one of those. I love those.
Yeah, all of the cats.
Get all of them.
There were pieces of feedback on Twitter.
You can read this.
How?
Because he can click the link even if he doesn't have like.
Is he allowed back on Twitter? Is he?
Well, no, he can't log in, but he can.
I can log into the podcast.
Can account. Read it from the outside. No, you can't, because I already answered this. So this concerns Dave.
Well, I mean, I'm the one that posted the reply to this, so that was me. Joe Ressington asked why I left Twitter and a blog post about it. And then he said, rest in peace.
Well, yes, you posted that reply, but then I posted another reply, which is more apt.
Oh, yeah, because it makes no sense. Whereas I think the blog post is...
so my answer is, mate, we have no idea. Makes no sense. Shit emoji.
Poop
emoji.
And then, I don't know who did it, but there was a Photoshop in the Discord.
Oh, yeah. God, I need to look it up now.
NCK_. When there was chat about ban hammers and leaving Discord.
I was saying, like, I am the rule. NCK_. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And it is a picture of Louis XIV and saying, I am the Discord. I am the Discord. I've got the crown. Created the channel.
Yeah.
I can wipe out all this bicycle talk. I can wipe out all this bicycle talk if I want to.
Fucking vegans.
Don't mess with me.
But people who are great are Bite Mark hosting.
Yeah, they're great.
We love them.
We love Bite Mark hosting because they host the things.
They
host the bites and they mark them.
They're the Ouroboros at the center of our planet.
All hail the Bite Mark.
Hail the Bite Mark. Anyway.
If you'd like to send us things about why I've left Twitter, you can send tweets to the to the show account, which I do sometimes log into, just to see if anyone's shouting at me. That's at Geek News Radio. Fab has a Twitter account because he's a fool.
I'm Fab, Foxtrot Alpha Bravo Sierra Hotel.
Mike also has a Twitter account.
I am M Stones MJ, MSTEVNS MJ.
I'm on Instagram. I post photos about Warhammer terrain and razor wire and cycling things.
And if you want to annoy Dave, we also have an email address GNR@sixgun.org. Send, advertisements for mattresses. Or...
Yeah, send us like requests to like post boring articles.
Oh yes, yeah. Would you like to cover this?
We're just following up on an email we sent last week about what.
There's the jade roller. The jade roller that you can roll over your face. It's only $40.
Yeah, you can get prepared meals delivered to your door, and you can cook them.
There's like this thing where they send you Warhammer.
Yes. Warhammer Conquest.
Only in Ireland and the UK.
Yeah.
Bastards.
There's a Discord. It's great. Stephen Johnson from Autodesk/Twitter man just joined today, and we talked about drones. It's good fun.
Welcome, Stephen.
It's good. We talk about things. We talk about cabins, building cabins in the woods. It's really quite nice. It's pleasant. It's really good.
Peak
What I
old
do-
man Dave.
What I do is I take screenshots of Guardian headlines and then make snarky comments about it. That's my new thing. Where I'm like, man, look at this headline, isn't that bollocks? If you would want to listen to this bollocks on YouTube, we also do that. Sixgun.tv on YouTube, so you can kind of like watch the streams. Is that where you posted your?
Yep, it's on there. All the streaming things I do end up on there, so you can see me painting stuff badly.
The most important thing is that you join the Strava squad and post your runs, and
so that we all know where you live.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Can
cool.
you post even just if you've walked, like just steps and stuff?
Yeah, you can post walks.
Can you post drinking beer?
There is not an activity of drinking beer.
We need to change that.
What's the point then?
Thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What types of things?
Alcohol ingested.
Right, cycling, running, swimming, hiking, alpine skiing, backcountry skiing, canoeing, e-bike riding, ellipticals, golf, hand cycling, ice skating, inline skating, kayaking, kite surfing, Nordic skiing, rock climbing, roller ski, rowing, sailing, skateboarding, snowshoeing, soccer, stair steppers, stand-up paddling, surfing, velomobile, no idea what that is, virtual ride, virtual run, weight training, wheelchair,
virtual ride.
So that's like things like Zwift. So you can plug your bike into basically like a turbo trainer, so something like just basically a thing of monitoring how fast you're pedaling.
Yeah. Fuck all that. No Warhammer painting.
Well, no, because that's quite relaxing. That doesn't get you.
Yeah, golf is
quite
too.
taxing, you know.
Golf is too.
I mean, I guess you should put a heart rate monitor and paint some.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get your trees wrong. You know, your tree
you get
sealed wrong. It's like
just rage.
That's basically cardio you're doing.
Yeah, it is cardio. That is true.
Mm.
There's a leaderboard, and it's good. There are people who like do nothing and then like do a 2-hour bike ride and then win the leaderboard every week. So
somebody's mad.
I'm not mad, man. I'm second right now. Nico push is in the lead. Lots of cycling, and I have done less, but enough to be second. Oh man, hack the planet. I'm gonna
Hail Sanguinius.
Kill team. There's only one kill team. With a dash.
Kill Ivan team.